as we continue to head towards what I think is their final pay-per-view of the year, other than World's End. World's End is on the last day, so I suppose that counts as the final one. But this is the final normal one, the one that we always get, and that is in about a week's time. So before we jump into the chat, let's take a look at the graphic, go through the matches, and then we can jump in the chat and talk about whatever it is that people want to talk about. So here's the graphic. So we've got an AEW World Championship match, which I genuinely don't know where this has come from, but it's not it doesn't say it's an eliminator or anything like this. It's just MJF against Daniel Garcia for the AEW World Championship. We've also got a Ring of Honor World TV Championship match. This is one that people seem to be quite excited about because I've been asked about this. So it seems like people are up for this one, of Samoa Joe taking on Keith Lee. We've also got Mark Briscoe taking on Jay White. We've got Hikaru Shida and Toni Storm in a sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone. That I am really looking forward to. Toni Storm in a sit-down interview with Tony Schiavone. I mean, she is going to be her elaborate best, isn't she? She is going to be outrageous. She's going to be outlandish. So I'm very much looking forward to that. We got Sting and Darby Allin taking on the Outrunners. We've got Red Velvet against Julia Hart. And then we've got Swerve Strickland taking on Penta El Zero Miedo. So that is the lineup. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 things. 7 things have been announced for tonight. We're in Portland, Oregon. And it's, as we said, not the go home. I believe that drops next week. But can't really complain about championship matches, can you? AEW championship matches, Ring of Honor TV championship matches, sit-down interview with Toni Storm. It looks a pretty stacked card. MJF against Daniel Garcia will be a great match, says Tony. I hope you enjoy it. James said Days JR is going to take leave from AEW for a while. Okay. James said the Outrunners are from OVW. And Travis said AEW is in my home state of Portland, Oregon. What time does it start? It starts in 57 minutes. 57 minutes. So, yeah, we're working our way towards the beginning of that. Obviously, there's a few bits of news doing the rounds. It was good to see the NXT numbers rebound. I don't know if you saw, but NXT came back with some, all right, no, not amazing, but came back with some all right numbers. The NXT viewership was a 16% increase on the week before. Ended up doing 794. So NXT the week before was 674, and this week it did 794. So NXT getting a little bit of a boost. I've seen a lot of criticism of Lexis King as well online, and actually now what I'm seeing is a lot of people complaining about the people that are complaining about Lexis King. So there was, I think a lot of people, reactions were he didn't do very well. And so now what we've got is we've got the NXT fans kind of saying, shut up, he's only been here 5 minutes type situation. I mean, what I would say to that is that both things can be true. I wasn't impressed with what I saw from him, but equally it is true he has only been there a hot minute. I would just say if he's not of the standard of being in that final segment, then why did we put him in that final segment if he's not good enough? Because surely they've got to read as to what his promos are like. Was it just nerves? I thought his delivery was very poor. He kind of stuck out, there was a real good back and forth going between Trick and Mello, and then Lexis King came in and it felt a bit wooden and it felt a bit scripted and it just didn't flow. It just didn't fit. I didn't feel like I was watching someone believable. And you know, it is the deep end. It's the final segment, a big weighty storyline. It was a big thing to throw him into. So as we said, both things there can be true. It's true that I don't think he did a good job, but equally I think it's fair to say he's only been there a hot minute, so it's NXT. Give him a chance. But yeah, that's one of the bigger talking points I saw from NXT last night. So viewership doing well, and certainly if you think there was no Becky around, there wasn't really, I mean, I don't think Akira Tozawa is bringing in the views. I don't think Akira Tozawa is the reason as to why it just went back up again. So it's always hard to know what it's going up against, like sport-wise, and what the competition's like. I'm sat here in the UK, so it's very difficult for me to know, like, was it just quiet? Was there just not really much sport? Was it just a good, like, you know, was it a case that people didn't have much other option and so they did tune in because, or maybe they were gripped by the Carmelo trick story, but then saying that, only 600,000 had watched it the week before. So unless they caught up with, like, YouTube videos or something, it's, I don't know what it was that brought people in, to be honest, but either way, a good number for them. Anything around that 800,000 mark, anything above that 650, where they've kind of been stuck for a long time up until Becky came in, is obviously a very good number for them. The other thing as well is that there are Billy Corgan, this is 8 minutes ago, there is a lot of speculation that is not true. NWA has got 2 deals with a top 20 network. There's a lot of talk about NWA at the moment as well, and that cocaine spot. So if you didn't see it, there was a guy in NWA who, during their pay-per-view, was over in the corner doing cocaine on camera, but it was scripted. It wasn't real cocaine, and it was all part of, like, you know, his presentation. And apparently this has upset the network. And there's big reports that keep coming out about how the talent aren't happy with Billy Corgan, how they're worried that he's derailing the momentum of the company and all this kind of stuff. So there is a bit of chatter doing the rounds about NWA at the moment. And 8 minutes ago on Fightful, I've just got their website up. They've just put a little quote from Billy Corgan. In fact, I've got the article here. I would like to say first and foremost, we are a television content producer. Wrestling in the 21st century is television first and everything else second. Not really wrong there. That's not to say the second is not important, but if you can't drive from television down, then you're going to have a hard time building an audience. Certainly being on national television in any capacity, digital or otherwise, broadcast network, that's how you reach the most people. Going into a market like Sarasota, as we'll be Saturday after next, having people have a routine to reach your television product is part of what makes people want to see your matches. We are free on YouTube, but the way YouTube works, and the way people's schedules are, unless they go looking for stuff, they may not know you're there. TV deals are at the core of it, and there has been a ton of speculation lately, and I stand by what I said. We have 2 TV deals with top 20 network. That's all I can say for now. There is a lot of speculation that is not true, but I can stand here and say, hand on heart, that is absolutely true. So apparently NWA have got 2 TV deals, and he's kind of putting to bed a lot of the chatter not being true. He's talking about the importance of television. So, yeah, I mean, the rumors are, as we said, he's upset the network. And it's actually the CW network, which is a big surprise because that's the same network that were interested or have just got NXT. Now, I don't know if this means that they're still going to the CW network or if that deal has actually fallen through. But it is very unusual to see WWE on the same network as another wrestling company. I don't think that WWE would really see the NWA as much of a threat to them in this day and age. But it is still a surprise that, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if WWE said you're going to kill that deal now. We don't want to share this network with another wrestling company. But I've not seen any of that news coming through. But Billy Corgan saying that he's got 2 TV deals with a top 20 network. So I know we don't watch NWA, but it's always a company that's worth just keeping an eye on, because a lot of their stars ended up going to AEW. And actually, LA Knight came through NWA as well. Ricky Starks came through there. Thunder Rosa came through there. Eddie Kingston came through there. Nick Aldis came through there. So there was a lot of stars that were on that show that have gone on to WWE or gone on to AEW. So even though we don't watch them, they're just always, it's the NWA as well. You know, we're talking about the oldest wrestling corporation, if you will. And so, again, you know, there's always going to be, if you're a wrestling fan, a soft spot for the NWA. So, yeah, interesting stuff. North Side, shout out to you. Monday's stream was amazing. Tuesday's was amazing. Wednesday's stream, I'm hope, will be amazing, said Northside. Well, so do I, buds. So do I. We're keeping everything crossed at the moment. But we're going to do our best here. We're going to do our best. Let's see how it goes. Miss Clown said, NWA, the hip-hop group. Yeah, the hip-hop group. They were doing cocaine. I mean, probably no great surprises. And they've upset the CW network, so, yeah. Trini said, wasn't Billy trying to sell to WWE? If they don't want to buy it, could... Oh, hang on. Wasn't Billy trying to sell to WWE? If they don't want to buy it, it could explain why they're not threatened. Yeah, I don't think they are threatened. It's just there's a whole legal case at the moment that's going through about MLW, and they are also a very small wrestling promotion. And WWE stopped them apparently going on to, I want to say, Vice TV. And so there's this big case that's going through the courts at the moment. WWE had some sort of relationship with Vice, and they stopped MLW getting onto Vice. It's something they've done a few times in the past, and it really is... I don't even know if I could name a time where WWE have been on a network with another different wrestling company. It's just not something they want to do. They just don't want to share that network. They don't want another company being promoted around their company. I suppose they don't want confusion. They don't want another company to benefit from their marketing or from anything that they do, you know? So, you know, sometimes it's not a personal thing. It's just business. Like, it's not necessarily that they hate anyone that works there or anything, but it's just them being the ruthless business that they are. It's just, you know, at times Vince being Vince. I wonder if I don't know. I don't know if they're not aware of it or if the deal has fallen through. What I heard, right? And again, Billy's coming out saying a lot of this stuff you're hearing is rubbish. So take this with a big pinch of salt. I heard that the cocaine situation had actually escalated the NXT talks. That sort of implies that the CW might have put their money into NXT rather than putting their money into the NWA. But we haven't heard that the CW deal has actually fallen through yet. And again, if you're not into the NWA, then this is something that you're not going to be bothered by. But it could turn out that NXT has basically gone there instead of the NWA. But we're still waiting for clarity on all of this. And it's very interesting with Billy coming out saying he's got 2 deals in place with a top 20 network. He's still not naming as to what that network is, but you know, it's all believed. I mean, in my mind, it would be the CW network, but I don't know. There's a little something there that I'm interested. I want to see how that shakes out. I want to see as to how that goes. If we get NWA and NXT on the same network, that's going to be real interesting. That'll be quite significant. And to be honest, if NWA now doesn't end up on the CW network, that will also be interesting because it might imply that cocaine spot ended their relationship with CW, and now NXT has kind of taken their place. So I'm just kind of bringing you up to speed on that, because that feels like just a little story that's bubbling away in the wrestling world that might be interesting to just be aware of. But we'll see how it plays out, and we'll see how it goes. It could be all a load of nothing, but the end result might still be that NXT and NWA end up on the same network, and even that would be, significant. Mitchell said, I just watched the movie Scrooged. Where does it rank on your Christmas movie list? I don't have a Christmas movie list. I think I've seen it once, and it was Bill Murray. There was some humor in it, but I can't remember really I watched it when I was young. So it's probably one that I've got to rewatch. But I don't really have a ranking per se. I just know that when it comes to Christmas films, for me personally, I'm not looking for the lovey-dovey stuff. Like Love Actually didn't... there was a bit of humor in Love Actually, but it didn't do it for me. It's not a film that I, enjoyed. But if you ask a lot of people, it's one of their top Christmas films, certainly here in the UK. I think even there was a poll ages ago, and it came out number one as like the UK's top Christmas film, Love Actually. But not crazy about that. I much prefer the comedies. If I'm going to sit down and watch a Christmas film, I want to watch one that's like a comedy. I don't mind one that's like a family one as well. I don't because that tends to have a bit of humor in it also. So I mean, I don't mind things like the Santa Claus, Tim Allen. Elf, of course, was for a long time my absolute favorite. But I think I just watched it too many times, and as I've said before, we did a watch long on the channel for it. We did it on the members stream. We did a watch long for Elf, and it just didn't hit me like it had. And so I think it's because like the bit when he finally goes to the city and he is like out of his depth, and he's like, chewing on the chewing gum that people have left, and he's like walking over the road, getting run over and stuff like that. Like, it's all good, funny, because he's obviously, he's been in the North Pole all his life, and now he's trying to adapt to the city. That's all funny. Once you get past that bit, it doesn't hit as hard. Like, for me, like, that part of it is gold. But then once you get past that, the film just sort of bobs along a bit, and I don't find it really as entertaining. And I don't know, it just kind of fallen off the top now. I really don't think I've got a number one. I mean, I would watch National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. I think that's going to be probably the one I watch this year again. It's been a while, so probably give that a watch and see how that sits on my list. But we went down a list the other day, and I was shocked at how many I hadn't seen. I think there's been quite a few that have come out in recent years that have sort of like passed me by. And to be honest, even when I was at working in retail, like getting time to watch Christmas films is a very difficult thing, because Christmas is so busy in retail. So like you're doing, easily in December, I was doing at least 12 hours a day, every day. And to be honest, towards like the final couple of weeks towards Christmas, I was on nights. So I would work all night, get the shop ready, get it absolutely rammed. I mean, just dripping with stock. And then I would go home, go to bed, get up, get back in. The shop would be battered from a heavy day's trading. And then we would fix it all up again and restock it all again. And there's something super satisfying about like just filling the shop up with stock again. And just making sure it's just dripping off the shelves, like absolutely ready. And then you come in, it's been battered, I do miss that was something so satisfying. You really felt like you was making a difference, because you can walk into an absolute bomb site, and then when you go, it's like, that scene in Elf where it's like glistening and it's all like clean and it's rammed full of stock and everything. I do miss that. So trying to fit in like Christmas movies into that kind of a schedule is just not happening. So even a lot of stuff released in like the kind of 2010s, I'd say anything from like 2010 onwards is probably needs to be on my watch list. But the classics like Home Alone, National Lampoon, Scrooged, Muppets, Christmas Carol, anything like, say, in the 2000s, in the 90s, 80s, before that, I've probably seen those, or at least the big films. I've seen those at least once. But I don't really have a list. And currently, I'm not even sure I've got a number one. I need to double check and see if it is Christmas Vacation. I did watch Christmas with the Cranks last year, and it was all right. Yeah, I thought it was all right. It had some bad reviews, so I kind of went in with low expectation, which was good, actually. I went in with low expectation, and it exceeded it. I don't know that it's an amazing film, but it was not a hard watch. It was, turn your brain off, watch it, and I had a good time. So, yeah, I don't mind a Christmas film, to be honest. I don't mind a Christmas film. Dean said Home Alone 2 is always my favourite that I like to watch at Christmas. Frosty the Snow Ho says Dark Angel. Let's go. Might check that out as well. Godfather's Ho, talking of hoes, said, very scatterbrained off that AEW. I don't get the booking in the matches. Can I have what creative of AEW is smoking? MJF and Garcia for the belt, ? When did Garcia earn that ? RIP storylines. Thank you. Thank you, Godfather's Ho. I don't know how we got there. It's very difficult to say anything because who knows? They might have been building up Garcia for a long time on Collision. He might be he might be the Andre the Giant. He might be the Hulk. He might be the, I don't know. What should he be? He should be the Andre, shouldn't he? If MJF is the baby face, then we need a monster heel. Maybe Garcia is the Andre the Giant of AEW, and he's just been killing people over on Collision, and now on Dynamite, they're going to explode, going to go up against each other, and it's one that people are wetting their pants over. I'm not too sure. But on Dynamite, it seems to have come out of nowhere because I can't even remember Garcia. Of all the billions of people that have been stepping up to MJF recently, I don't think I can remember Garcia being one of them. So my answer is I don't know. I don't know. But I'm pretty sure during this title match, which is obviously the biggest trophy that you can win, the biggest prize you can win, it's what I would imagine most people are dreaming of winning because, it could change your life. You are the man if you've got this, and that will be an achievement. It's the mountaintop, isn't it? It's the absolute mountaintop. I can only imagine that Garcia will not do his silly dance during this match because of it being such an important match. I would imagine that he will park that because of the severity of the match. So we'll keep an eye out for that. We'll keep an eye out and see if he treats it as the big AEW World Championship opportunity that it is, or if he's just going to use it as a way to do more dancing. We'll find out. I am not the biggest Garcia fan, to be honest, but some people are, and for them, I'm sure the excitement is palpable. So we will see as to how that plays out. Days, I saw a report earlier today that said talent are unhappy at Billy Corgan's leadership. Yeah, I saw that same one. Just judging by what he's saying there, he seems to be suggesting that it's a load of codswallop. That's the word I'm going to use, codswallop. So I don't know what the truth is, to be honest. I'd be very interested to know. I mean, look, I think he's very... what's the word I'm looking for? He's very set in his ways. I mean, I would say, would he do the cocaine spot again now? And there's probably a good chance he would. He's very like, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing it. I don't give a flip, right? This is what I want to do. And so I can't even say he wouldn't do that again. I genuinely don't know. I suppose it depends if the reports are true. I mean, if it has cost him a TV deal, then maybe he wouldn't do it again. But he seems to be suggesting, like, don't believe all the speculation. So we'll see. To be honest, I think it would be a real shame if the TV deal was pulled for that reason. Because why can't the network just go, nah, you can't do that? That, you know, you can't do that. That's a bad look for us, for our advertisers, for our sponsors. His response would be, yeah, I didn't do it on your network. I did it on the pay-per-view. Their response would be, yeah, but if we're going to be showing your product, whatever you do on a pay-per-view is going to be reflective of your brand. Your brand is going to be reflective of us. So anything you do on pay-per-view, all right, you can push boundaries a little bit more. Maybe you can do a bit of blood or whatever. And, you know, maybe you can use a few swear words that you can't on the network. But doing cocaine or having a wrestler do cocaine, like, that's like, people are going to be talking about that. And we show your product, so we are going to be associated with it. And that can't fly. You can't do that. I mean, there's not really a conversation to be had. Like, you either stop it and we continue, or you can continue doing those things and we will pull the deal our end. I don't know why that conversation can't take place, rather than, now we're done, that's it. Everything's so these days, isn't it? You done what? Oh no, I'm off. What happened to, like, the, do you know what I mean? What happened to this? Where did warnings go? There's no warnings anymore. So it would be a real shame if that had... I mean, you could make the argument he should have checked with them first, but then I think in his mind he was probably thinking it was a pay-per-view. I can do what the flip I want. It's my company. It's my pay-per-view. It's not being shown on the CW network. But it does open it up to an interesting conversation, doesn't it? It does open it up to an interesting conversation. It's a little bit like if you work in retail and they're like, tell you not to smoke out front. Because if you're wearing your outfit... If you work at Burger King, can't really go standing out the front of Burger King smoking a cigarette, can you? Because you might be on your break, but you're still representing Burger King. And that's not the image that they're going to want to be portraying. And that's the exact same thing with a wrestling company and a pay-per-view. Like, you can't have someone doing cocaine because that's going to get back to the CW network, because they are the network that show NWA, or at least were meant to. So I am very interested to see if that's still going to go that way and how it's going to play out. But yeah, he seems to be suggesting, like, don't believe everything you're reading at the moment. Mitchell said, who are the worst fans, WWE fans or AEW fans? I think they're as bad as each other, to be honest. I don't think there is a worse. I think that if we see both sides of it, I think it's tribal. I think that I see it on both sides. I was thinking about this earlier, though, that if WWE fans didn't speak about AEW, didn't talk about their ratings, if they didn't talk about the ratings, didn't talk about AEW, at least half of the chatter about AEW online would go away. And maybe a good chunk of views as well. Because I do think there's people out there that hate watch. That just tune in to hate it, right? I think there's people that just tune in to hate it. I think there's people that there's whole accounts that are just set up to point out botches of AEW. And there's whole accounts that are just, isn't there one that's called, like, AEW Neckbeards that just lays into, AEW things? What I will say is I don't know that I can sit here and name too many AEW accounts that point out WWE botches. I think WWE fans do that themselves, to be honest, which isn't a problem. But I don't know that I've seen too many, like, malice accounts towards WWE. Like we've said before, if you want to have a go at, like, Aubrey and the fact that she is constantly getting involved in matches and throwing her arms around and looking like a wacky inflatable person, right? Distracting and, just elaborate and all this kind of stuff. If you want to have a go at that, that's fine. Can't see why you can't have a go at that. But people that are calling her a horse, like, where's that line? Because to me, that doesn't seem right. Like, because now, like, this is just bullying now. This is, like, that's got nothing to do with anything. I think, to be honest, the reason why that spiraled is because it turned out she was the person that was taking down people's accounts, and she turned out to be this Don Stevens. So all of a sudden now she's got a target on her back. So you've got a lot of people that have been affected by her copyright takedowns. So now it's open season, if you know what I mean. But yeah, there's a lot of accounts out there that seem quite hell bent on not just pointing out the flaws of AEW, but like getting real personal and like talking about people's looks and stuff like that. Maybe you could make the case of like even like when we're going after Tony Khan, but we don't go after his looks. I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky one. I would say, though, that I see a lot more of those accounts that attack AEW than I do see accounts that attack WWE. But I can't say that's a reflection that definitely means WWE fans are worse. All right? I think it's 50-50. Like, I see AEW fans sticking it to WWE. I see WWE fans sticking it to AEW. And then, as I said, you've got a few accounts that really go in hard on AEW. I don't necessarily see the same coming from the other direction. So I would say it's honestly 50-50. I couldn't say that one was worse than the other. But what I did think was interesting was that if WWE fans just shut up, right, stopped mentioning AEW, stopped talking about Tony Khan, stopped talking about AEW and went and did something else, the amount of social media posts, the amount of trending that they do, the amount of attention that they receive would plummet. It would go down. It wouldn't go up. It would go down drastically. It would go down. And I think views would go down as well, because I think there's a good chunk of people that watch just to see what Jim Cornette's going to say about it. Just to see. I mean, apparently, I don't know if you heard the clip, but they were in Louisville the other week. And apparently, Jim was inundated with people going, "Are you going to be there? Oh my God, please tell me you're going to be there." And it seems like there's a real chunk of people that were so excited at the idea of Jim showing up and sticking it to him. There's a lot of people that like are really into seeing AEW have it, like, oh, go on, Jim. Go on, stick it to him, Jim. I mean, Jim Cornette's probably got the right idea in the sense of, no, I'm not going. I'm not interested in it. I'm not going. Why would I want to be there? But there's a load of people that desperately apparently wanted him to go. And it does make you think, doesn't it, that if those people just went and did something else and didn't tweet about it and didn't talk about it, like, it wouldn't get as many tweets. It probably wouldn't trend as often. It wouldn't get the same exposure. It wouldn't get the same views. It would go. Everything would go down in a really ironic roundabout way. All the attention that WWE fans are giving AEW is making it a bigger promotion, rather than WWE fans just going, "Yeah, you're right. I don't like it. I should go and do something else." So I think that I think it's very interesting. There could be books written on this tribalism, and there could be a real interesting study done as to like where it started, how it played out, some of the key moments, maybe look at some of the key social media accounts, having a look at, like, as I said, AEW botches, having a look at like the whole Don Stevens, Aubrey Edwards role in taking copyright stuff down. Like, there could be a whole piece that gets done just looking at that, because like ratings and the Wednesday night war when it was AEW and NXT and who was going to come out on top and everything, all of that period and everything that's kind of reverberated since has been absolutely fascinating. Cody obviously taking that step over, Jade taking that step over, Edge, Daniel Bryan going the other direction. We're waiting to see if Mercedes is going to step over as well. Christian coming over, obviously Ric Flair recently. But all of this has had like tribalism connected to it, like Edge coming in really hurt WWE fans. A lot of what I was seeing was people like either saying, I'm really pleased for him because now he can, like, wrestle more, or people going, I can't believe he's done that. He's hurt his leg. He's changed in my eyes. I saw loads of people saying he's changed in my eyes now. I can't, he's really let himself down. And like every time you get one of those big switches, it's really interesting seeing it, like, how it plays out. So I think someone could do a really interesting, like, hour-long video, just really deep diving into some of those subjects, and I think it would be fascinating. Because don't forget, eventually we will move on past this. We will get to a point where we are, maybe AEW has gone, maybe the war has settled down. They're just, they've both been around so long, they're just doing their own thing. Neither have really moved in the ratings or whatever. Maybe the tribalism will settle down. Nothing lasts forever. Chances are one of these companies will end up going at some point. It'll probably be AEW before WWE. And then obviously we could look back on this period and go, oh, remember that? Could you imagine a documentary doing the same about WCW and WWE? It's a little different, though, because social media wasn't around at that point. So it's hard to kind of talk about, like, what were the WCW fans like towards WWE fans, what were WWE fans like towards WCW. I've seen signs on old shows like Nitro sucks and things along those lines, So there's definitely... and of course, Tony Schiavone giving the results away and people changing the channel. So you could do a great documentary. It'd be harder, but you could do a great documentary about WCW and WWE, just focusing on the tribalism. Maybe you could do one on WWE and TNA. You could certainly do one on WWE and AEW. But I can't say that any fans are worse than the others. I think it's just the case that it's 50-50, to be honest. But those more extreme accounts definitely stand out. Botched Eye Surgery said, Days, when Lesnar makes his return, would you want to see him in a story with Gunther for the IC title? I think that would be awesome if done right. Not particularly. I want to see him in a story with Gunther, yes, but I wouldn't do it for the IC title. Just because I think I really am a big believer that Gunther needs to lose this belt soon. I can't even believe we've gone as long as we've gone, to be honest. Just because I really would have thought that Triple H would have learnt his lesson about title reigns and trying to break records. I mean, look how hard and how long Roman is having to keep this title to start breaking the records of the past, because those title reigns are so long, and he, chances are he ain't going to be beating Bruno Sammartino's 7 years, and there ain't no woman that's beaten 25 years for the Fabulous Moolah. But the Intercontinental one was always achievable. It was 400 and something days. Well, Gunther's gone to 500 and something days now, and the longer it's going, the harder it's going to be for someone else to beat it further down the roads. Before we turn around, Gunther will be at the 2-year mark, and you're just making it harder. Surely Gunther has achieved what he needs to achieve with the IC title by now, right? I mean, he's got the all-time records. So I don't really know why we're continuing with it, to be honest. So the idea of us bringing Brock in and doing a feud with Brock over the IC title, I wouldn't do it. I'm more focused on getting the IC title off Gunther now. I would definitely do Brock Gunther. Yeah, great match. And they sort of teased a confrontation at Royal Rumble either earlier this year or last year. I remember Gunther being in the ring face-to-face with Brock and it being a little moment. So it's definitely a match people are interested in. But I think I would be looking more around the world title. Maybe you do it when Gunther's got the world title and then here comes Brock. Or Gunther's trying to win the world title and maybe he has to get it from Brock. Brock could always come back, win the world title, and Gunther get it from him. Who knows? Seth could lose the world title to Brock. And then Gunther wins the Rumble and we get Gunther Brock for the world title at WrestleMania 40. We could always look to build that. Lots of different directions that we could go. But yeah, no, I wouldn't look to do it for the IC if I was booking. I really would be looking to get that belt off him as soon as possible. It feels like Chad Gable is the one. It feels like Chad's the one that's going to get that belt. I mean, Chad's kid was crying. He says that he's going to get back to that Intercontinental Championship. We know that The Miz is next. I think The Miz is going to come up short. I don't think The Miz is the person that's going to do it. I don't think he is. It's a real interesting one because if The Miz did it, he would benefit. Even though he's been around for so long, him being a face means that we need to kind of establish him as a face. And him being like a good in-ring... There's a... I don't want to say a misconception, but you always hear, don't you, of people being called like a poor man's Miz. And like The Miz gets a rough time from wrestling fans. There is a lack of respect, and you can understand why. I mean, we have to watch him getting eaten by zombies, you know? We have to watch him hey ho hoing. We have to watch him doing like being knocked into swimming pools and doing all kinds of goofy things. He's always been presented as a bit of a goof, right? Yeah, he had a world championship, but the way he won it, the way he defended it, how long it was. I mean, it's not a vintage reign by any means. He still got there, though. He still did get that world title. And that's certainly something he can be proud of. But I don't think wrestling fans put too much stock into it. I don't think wrestling fans look at that and think, yeah, he's a proper champ. What a champ. What a champ he is. I don't think wrestling fans feel that way. So I think that it's weird because he's been around so long. But if he was to legitimately be the one to beat Gunther, I think there is something that he would benefit. That is something really tangible that he could actually say, I did that. And you know, there's probably not loads that he can say, I did that to, because a lot of his wins were always controversial because he's been a heel for so long. He's cheated his way to victory after victory after victory. And to be honest, for the longest time, he's been losing. He's been on a horrific losing streak. Horrible losing streak. So if he was to be the one that beat Gunther, I can't sit here and say he wouldn't gain from it. I think he would. I think he would massively gain from it. And if he is going to change his character and be a face now, you know, maybe The Miz could be the one that does it. And I wouldn't be down on that because The Miz is such an unsung hero. He is someone that is... Is he a first ballot Hall of Famer? Because his longevity, how long he's been around, the fact that he's been on show after show after show after show, the fact it's The Miz, and everyone knows The Miz. He's a piece of the furniture that you take for granted. He's like a chair, just a broken up chair that you use all the time. You don't think about it, but if it wasn't there, you know, you'd notice, you'd miss it. And I think The Miz is like that. You know, he's someone that we take for granted because there's always someone that's shinier, better, bigger, stronger, more charismatic. Like, there's always someone like a Cena or an Orton or a Seth Rollins. And The Miz is just there. But he's been there so long. He's done so much. He's been in so many storylines. He's always done what's been asked of him. He's been in God knows how many WrestleManias all over the cards. And he's a name that everyone around the world knows. If you're a WWE fan in India, in Australia, in Singapore, you know The Miz, right? You know The Miz, and you know his catchphrases. And I think you could make an argument for him being a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think you could. I know he doesn't have the World Championships to, like, maybe think about being at that level. But I think the thing with the Hall of Fame is it's never really been about that. It's about recognizing people that have really made a difference, because there's people in the Hall of Fame that have never won the World Championship at all, right? So it's not about that. It's about your longevity. It's about what you gave to the business. It's about what you gave to the business. And The Miz has gone above and beyond. I mean, think of the stuff The Miz has been asked to do, you know? Think of the stuff he's been asked to do, and he's done it. He's done it. He's gone out there. He's done it. Doesn't care about embarrassing himself. You know, he just loves being a part of this. I'm sure he loves the money as well. He met his wife here. He's made his family here. So, yeah, with all that being said, is there loads for him to say, I achieved that? I did that. I don't know. I don't know that there is. But this would... He can say it, but there's always an asterisk next to it because he probably cheated when he achieved it. But if he was to beat Gunther clean and he was the one, that would be something that would be very tangible for him. And, yeah, I think there is something there for him. I don't know that it will be him, though, because I still think it's going to be Chad's. But if it turned out to be The Miz, having now spoken about it and given my reasons for it, I wouldn't mind it. I wouldn't mind it. It's weird because The Miz is one of those names you go, The Miz, he ain't going to benefit from it. It's been there forever. The Miz has been a former world champion. Why is he going to benefit from being Intercontinental champion again? But if you sit down and actually think about it and think about, like, how much has he actually done clean? How much can he actually, like, you know, hand on heart say, I did that? There's probably not loads. And that his perception in the eyes of the fans, I think, is one that could be improved, could definitely be improved. And this might improve it. Where are we? Right, we got 14 minutes to go. 14 minutes to go. Wrestle Andy said, do you think we'll get another pay-per-view in the UK in 2024? It's a good question, that is, because they are really going abroad, aren't they? And looks like they're trying to box off Germany. There's rumours of... Well, we know Australia. We know there's rumours of Paris. So could it be that they're seeing those two as being Europe ticked this time around? I mean, I think they need to do one in the UK because I think that they surely are looking at AEW doing Wembley last year and again, and surely they're thinking we need to react to that. I mean, I do think that the Berlin show and the Paris show is, I think, I don't know the dates on them, but I think they're both before Wembley. I think they are. And even if they aren't, they're still close enough whereby I think you've announced the Berlin one enough in advance whereby you are now making those German fans, Belgium fans, Netherlands fans, anything like that's bang in the heart of Europe, that is. The UK is actually tucked over to the side of Europe. It's like as far west as you can get, really. Bang in the middle of Europe is Germany. So putting a show on there means that really all around Europe now can quite easily get to Berlin. And so because you've announced it, are you now making fans decide, do I do the Berlin show or do I go to Wembley? There will be people that can do both, of course, but there will be some that are going to have to make a real decision because, to be honest, flights, hotels, food, all of that stuff, it ain't cheap. The ticket to get in might not be bad, but that's only like, you know, a small portion of what you're spending. You know, if you're a German wrestling fan, you know, flights are going to cost you, I don't know, 80 quid, 100 quid, maybe not even that, but about that ballpark. Hotel's going to kill you. A hotel in London is going to kill you, right? 200 quid easy. So, I mean, add in the ticket, add in foods, 500 quids, something like that. Just to, like, go to the show and, like, not even go around anywhere else. Food, flights, hotels, the hotel that kills you. Because London's expensive, like most major cities. So, yeah, I think that you're giving them a choice now of, okay, rather than spending 500 quid, why don't I just go to Battle in Berlin, which is going to be the first time WWE are doing a show here. I could go there. I don't need to stay over. And I could go, enjoy it, get back home. And, you know, for those countries around, I'd imagine trains or whatever into Berlin are probably quite easy. And, of course, you're growing your audience in mainland Europe as well. So I think they are trying to hurt the AEW show by doing these European shows because I think they are giving fans in mainland Europe something to consider. So, like, what am I going to do now? Am I going to do the Wembley one, or do I just go to the Berlin one, or do I go to the Paris one when that gets announced? Because don't forget, the tickets aren't on sale yet for Wembley. They've got a register your interest thing at the moment, but that doesn't mean anything. You know, you'll just get an email saying the tickets are on sale now. If you register your interest, that's it. So I think that they might think that they're doing enough damage to that AEW London show with their European shows. I think you could say, like, no, they've still got to do London and all this kind of stuff, but I don't know. Do they need to do 3 European shows in a year? Do they need to do the UK, Germany, and Paris? Because the other issue you've got is that I think a lot of those fans that went to Wembley, that's not just the UK. You're going to have attracted all your AEW fans from all over Europe there, right? Getting to London, you know, London's one of the major cities in the world, so flights to London are all the time from every country in Europe. Super easy to get to London, as it is Berlin, as it is Paris, right? I'd imagine it's the same as, like, trying to get to New York, trying to get to Dallas. Like, these are major hubs, and, like, there's flights in America to get to these places, right? It's not hard to get there. Same with London, same with Paris, same with Berlin. So I don't know. Would you want to do, like, 3 European shows in a year? I think it's going to be really hard to see them doing that. It's certainly not impossible, but I think I could make an argument that they're already trying to hurt AEW's ticket sales for Wembley by announcing the Berlin show, and certainly when they announce the Paris show. Again, we'll see. They could also announce a London show. We know that there's a great fan base here in the UK for them, but maybe they're hoping that some of these UK fans will go to Paris and go to Berlin. Little do they know, we hate Europe, so we're not going to do that. We're not going over to France. What if someone French talks to me? Oh, God. Oh, what would I do? I'd have to use my mace. Like that. Oh, my God. That'd be the worst. Big Time, shout out to you, said WWE didn't go to Wales this year because they want to spread it out. The international dates are not an every year thing. Tony announced Allin pre-sale in December. The response is clearly because WWE announced Berlin, and Tony wants to get a head start. So it isn't just WWE that's getting pulled like string. Botched Eye Surgery, shout out to you, said, I wish they would come to little old New Zealand for a pay-per-view. Last decent WWE thing we had was a Road to WrestleMania in 2006. It was awesome. It had pyro and all. Yeah, it would be good to see them go to New Zealand. I don't know how hard it is for our New Zealand friends. Maybe Botched Eye Surgery could answer this. To get to Australia. I think they're probably hoping that our New Zealand friends will jump on a flight and get over to Australia and go to the Australian show that they're doing in Perth, in Elimination Chamber. Actually, my geography of Australia is atrocious. I believe most of their major cities are on the outskirts, not so much in the middle, but I couldn't tell you where Perth actually is. I couldn't tell. I think Melbourne, I want to say, is like maybe east and maybe south east, over to the east. I couldn't point to where Perth is. So, did you know, I only found this out today, right? The moon is as wide as Australia. Who knew that? Well, someone knew that. I didn't know that. The moon is as wide as Australia. I read it in a, funnily enough, a watch book. I was looking at some like nice watches. Not getting one, but I was looking to see what was out there. And there's this new watch that's just come out that's got like, it tells you where the moon is at all times, right? In the sky is what it should just say all the time. It's still in the sky, but it shows you where the moon is and the position of the moon, right? It's a lovely looking watch, and it had some moon facts And one of them is that the width of the moon is roughly the same as the width of Australia. It's like, that is mental, man. That is mental. I don't know why. In my mind, I knew the moon wasn't as big as the Earth. I knew that, but no way did I think that it was the width. In my mind, Australia, I know it's a big place. I know it's big, but it doesn't strike me as like moon size, right? Like, obviously, it's the width, so it's going to be taller. Australia's quite long, isn't it? So it's that round, basically. That's the moon. Which I thought was very interesting. But, obviously we'll have to wait and see if they do ever go to New Zealand. It would be good if they did. I mean, I don't think you'll get a pay-per-view there, but because obviously the population's not huge and it's quite spaced out. But I could definitely see them doing like some shows there if they start getting to Australia regular. They could do the pay-per-view in Australia. Why can't you do a few house shows and bits in New Zealand? As you said, they did it in 2006. And I think that you can get a bit more optimistic now because they certainly seem to have got their sights global now again. So it certainly feels like they want to have a look and see what opportunities are presenting themselves now around the world, rather than just doing like different states. Which, you know, I mean, look, I think that's going to be a good thing for America as well, because I know that it might not be quite as convenient as it has been, but I think there has become a bit of a lull in America. I think America is, you know, it's been well served when it's come to WWE. And I think that if there is just a little less shows and they're not around quite as much, that probably will encourage people to come out more. So actually, you could see an improvement in their American business as well, where they're actually starting to sell good numbers of tickets again. We looked, I think that doesn't look like they've, I can't remember, I don't think they hit 15,000 for Raw at any point this year. And these are going to be arenas that can do 20-odd thousand. So, you know, there's definite scope, definite room for growth. There was a lot of shows, a few Raws, that they were in the 6,000s, 7,000s, going up to like 10,000. There was only a few that had got to 14-something thousand. So there's plenty of room for growth when it comes to ticket sales for Raw, SmackDown, house shows in America. So maybe if they are doing some more international shows, less shows in America, it'll just encourage people to be like, oh, I do need to go and see them because they might not be around again in this area for a while, you know? My only knowledge of Australia is the Crocodile Hunter, Crocodile Dundee, and Scooby-Doo, Legend of the Vampire. To be honest, Mitchell, I think that boxes everything off. I don't actually think you're missing out on anything there. It seems like you've got... Throw in Steve Irwin as well. And I don't think there's anything else you need to know. I think you've pretty much got it all, buds. Days, will the devil mask be revealed tonight, says A. Jobson. I don't know, to be honest. I don't think so. I think that they would probably like to continue teasing that, and maybe it gets revealed at the pay-per-view. We're quite close to the pay-per-view. So maybe next week on the go home, maybe at the pay-per-view. To do it a couple of weeks out before the pay-per-view, I think would be a bit strange, unless they're going to use it obviously to play into something for the pay-per-view. But if this is a big thing that people are talking about, like who's the devil that keeps being shown, then I would suggest it will probably be a reveal at the pay-per-view. So I would go with that. Hacker Tomorrow said, do you think the devil mask will be revealed tonight? We answered that. A. Jobson said, what championship match are you most excited for? Samoa Joe, Keith Lee, or MJF, Daniel Garcia? Samoa Joe, Keith Lee. I'm not a Garcia fan. I think the dancing thing is Fandango, Tyler Breeze, low-level jobber type gimmick. So to see him in a title match now, I mean, he's a great talent. I don't know why you would give him that gimmick. I can only imagine that AEW love their silly comedy stuff. And so I think they're hoping that it just kind of, the dancing gets him over with the fans, I suppose, in a way, the same way that Prince Nana does his dancing as well. And that gets him over with the fans. Rather than him getting over because of him being a good wrestler, we get him over because he does a funny dance, which seems pretty wild to me. But whatever. If that's the path they want to go with Garcia, then that's their decision. But it means that he's not someone that I really care for, you know. All joking aside, I expect him in this match to do that dancing. And this is for an AEW World Championship, you know? So, and I don't even know how this match has come about either. So, I think Samoa Joe, Keith Lee, outside of the Swerve tag team, hasn't really felt like a big deal. I mean, we did the hood and the grey hair and all that stuff, and that was a bit strange. And he just seems to have been like bobbing around. So if they're going to go in there and cook, there's potential for that. There's potential for them to go in there and really deliver some goods. So I would say that. Right, we're starting with the show. Adam Cole says he's worried about MJF. MJF said he can defend those tag titles. Here's Garcia. I believe in you, said MJF. I've proven it's talent over tenure, says MJF. I believe in you, Garcia. Am I getting the sports entertainer or am I getting the professional wrestler? Garcia says tonight you get a professional wrestler. Maybe there is hope we won't do the dancing. Here's Roderick Strong. Roderick Strong said that he can give MJF some tips. Okay, Adam's cut off. Adam was on a TV screen for those not watching. Roderick Strong said it's time to remind everyone exactly who he is. So, I would say not a bad start in the sense of MJF's explained to me why this match is happening. He says, I agreed to this because of your win-loss record. No, but I did it because I believe in you. And he says, like, am I going to get the sports entertainer or am I going to get the professional wrestler? And Garcia said, you're going to get the professional wrestler. So I feel a bit more hopeful now, to be honest. That segment has filled me with a bit more hope that we're not going to faff around. We're going to take it serious. It's going to be a showcase for Daniel Garcia to show what he can do. And he is a good talent. It's just, he's a good talent that's been saddled with a horrible gimmick. So I would say not a bad open there, to be honest. And actually, we're going to go straight into the match. So it is going to be MJF and Daniel Garcia. I mean, clearly, we're not even doing a poll. Clearly, Daniel Garcia is not going to win the championship, right? He's doing the dance. Garcia making his way down to the ring. He goes over to a lady in the crowd, so I can only imagine that's his mother. We're going to open with the championship match. We are. Kian said, all right, Days, hope you are doing well. Having a great stream. How is your day? What was your thoughts on NXT? NXT was so-so. It was okay. I don't think it was vintage episodes. I thought that Lexis King failed in that final segment. I think that he is someone with limitations that needs work, and I'm sure he will get there, but wasn't great. And the show was okay. I mean, it was all right. I enjoyed Tozawa against Noam Dar. Thought that was good. The Iron Survivor qualifying matches, they were okay. Tyler Bate Dijak was all right. Fallon against Tiffany was okay. It wasn't terrible, but I think it was hard to get like too excited about anything. There wasn't really much there that I was like losing my mind over. Braun and Von that ain't doing it for me, man. They're really trying with that feud, but it's just not. It just hasn't done it for me. You know, Von lost and then planted Braun through the table after, and they were celebrating like he'd won the match. Robert Stone was like, "You did it! You did it!" It's like, what did he do? He lost. He lost the match. So it was okay. I've seen much, much better this year. Right, here we go then. MJF, Daniel Garcia. MJF in white and black shorts. It's a different kind of look for MJF. He grabs the leg of Garcia and Garcia gets the ropes. MJF does Garcia's dance mockingly. Aubrey agreed it wasn't a great show by any means, and I love NXT. I was surprised at the community poll NXT results. Lots of all-time votes, said Aubrey. I think you have to be honest, I think that we've got, sadly, people that are young or are maybe new to wrestling. And I think, I'm not saying that people aren't telling the truth. I think there's a degree of they don't have much to compare it to. So, you know, for some people, it might have felt like an all-time show. Oh my God, I absolutely loved it. Because they never watched Black and Gold back in the day. And they don't know what better looks like, you know. So I think you have to, for me, I just look at it as, it doesn't matter if people are put in all-time, if they really believe it's all-time. Because if they're going to keep doing that each week, we should still be able to see the differences. You know, if there's a week where they really enjoy it, then we should get even more people saying all time. So that should show, if that makes sense. So rather than expecting shows to score really low if they're really bad, probably just accept you're still going to get people saying they were all-time episodes because they're like NXT fanboys that can't do anything else. Or they're young and they don't know anything else. But it's like there should be, hopefully, when we do get a really good show, it should still show itself. But the kind of margins we're dealing with are probably quite small, if you know what I mean. Garcia just went for the dance there. I mean, he raised his hands up and MJF just poked him in the eye. Mitchell said, I'm interested to see if the ratings drop off after this match. MJF has proven to be a draw, but outside of him, there's not much of a proven draw. Well, it depends if they're going to use him later in the show. MJF, as I keep saying to me, is the problem. As someone that's so used to champions being like, you know, you thank the champion for bringing the house, basically. That's an old school rule. Whoever's like the main event on the card, whoever's the champ, whoever's the main draw, you thank them for bringing the fans in. The fact that the ticket sales are low, the ratings have been a bit stagnant. You do have to look at the champion as a starting point. Even if the ratings show that his segments are the strongest segments, the fact that he is not being booked better in the sense of, you know, this could be the main event and we could have had little segments throughout the show leading to this match. means that, yeah, you're not wrong. It could be that once this match is done, maybe the ratings do take a dip down. People will stick around for MJF, but I think the way that he's being used in the show structure is a concern. You know, again, with WWE, they bring out Roman at the start. It tends to set something up. We revisit him backstage throughout the show, and then it'll lead to him appearing in the final moments as well. And you could make the argument that maybe that's too much Roman, but it has worked in the ratings. And we don't tend to do that with MJF. We will go back to him a few times throughout the show, but he doesn't then tend to appear in the final segment, you know? So it is true, we could see a little, well, more than a little dip off after this. But to me, he is the face of the company. He's the guy. He is the guy that's got the belt. He is the guy that's responsible for bringing people through the door, you know. Hulk Hogan back in the 80s, he was the guy that was responsible for drawing the house and selling the pay-per-views. And his feuds were the feuds that basically the company was built on. Hence why if it's not working, you change your champion. You know, when Diesel was champion and it wasn't working, we changed the champion. When we were trying to figure out who do the people want, do they want Lex or do they want Brett in 1994, we were doing that because we knew it would affect the business. So I don't think everything's rosy with MJF. I think I look at the ticket sales, I look at the ratings, I look at just where AEW are as a whole, and I look at the fact MJF has been champion all this year, and it may not be what he's doing, it may be how he's being used, but it's still not bringing the people in. It's still not bringing the ratings in. It's still not turning this business around. Forearm strikes coming in by Garcia. But you are right, Mitchell. It could be a case that this thing does dip off after this, because it's undeniable if you look at his quarters breakdown that the people will watch him. Face first. With talent frustrated in the NWA, who would you like WWE or AEW to pick up? I don't know. I don't watch it, so I can't say who's on that roster. I know Camille's over there. She's a big girl, jacked, looks great. I don't know why people haven't come in for her, unless it's a case that she's like under contract or something. But I don't watch the promotion anymore. Forearm strikes coming in by Garcia, driving MJF back into the corner. He's walloping MJF. Tony said, I appreciate the concern about the business side, but wrestling fans, you just enjoy the product, and I promise everything is okay, says Tony. Garcia dancing away as he throws in double knees, picks up MJF and plants him down. 1, 2, shoulder up by MJF. Big Time said SmackDown Quarters came out. Roman LA segment did 2.3. The next segment, Kevin and Theory, fell to 2 million. By the time we got to the main event, it was 1.9. James said MJF needs to go back as a heel. His face turn right now isn't doing anything for me. We answered that. Why is Garcia in a match with MJF, said Wisp. Well, I thought they did an all right job of explaining it at the start, actually, because I had the same question when I saw the graphic. But MJF said he sees a lot in Garcia. He's not giving him this opportunity because of his wins and losses. He's giving him this opportunity because of the fact that he believes in him. And so he wants to give him like a spotlight, basically. So he said, am I going to get the sports entertainer or am I going to get the professional wrestler? Garcia said, you'll get the professional wrestler. We have seen a couple of spots of him dancing, but it's not particularly got in the way, to be honest. He's been in control of MJF whenever he has broke out the dancing. DDT and shoulder up by Garcia. Kick coming in by Garcia. MJF I am surprised at the lack of build for this. I don't remember them saying there would be an MJF title match last week. So the fact that we've got MJF in a title match is it's a big deal because MJF doesn't really ever do title matches on Dynamite. His I mean, he has done some before, but he doesn't wrestle all that often. He's kind of a bit of an attraction, you know. He went for a kick, but I don't think he got Garcia there. MJF in the corner. Went for Panama Sunrise. Hurt his knee. Garcia kicks at the knee. Oh, drop kick at the other knee by Garcia. Looked pretty brutal. And he's grabbing MJF in the middle of the ring. He's trying to pick up MJF, but MJF collapses down. He's trying to turn MJF over. So he's got him up looking for a pile driver. Boom. Connects. Goes for the cover. 2. Shoulder up. Step through. Turns him over into a sharpshooter. Sharpshooter by Garcia. He's got MJF down. And is bending back. He's putting that pressure on MJF. MJF has got the arm. And he taps. Garcia taps. MJF picks up the win in our opening match to retain his championship. James said Garcia needs to stay as a pro wrestler. He's world class. He could be in the same league as Danielson in 5 to 10 years. Aubrey said if they want to carry the ratings through, have Garcia win the belt controversially, only to be overturned at the end. I'm thinking Y2J Triple H on Raw many years ago. MJF is first to grip people, and hopefully the people will stay. AEW needs to be more consistent with their storytelling, said Fred. As fans, we get invested in a story and then they just drop it. Jobson said MJF having all these championship matches signaling a loss at Full Gear, ? Could read into it that way. I don't know that it's going to go that way. I think they've just got a load of people. I think it could be that they're trying to make him a babyface. And if he's a babyface, he's got to be a fighting champ. You can sort of get away with not being a fighting champ if you're a heel. But the people wouldn't respect a babyface that never defends. Garcia was going to shake his hand. He's just been prevented by Daddy Magic. 794 for NXT. Big main roster names appeared to pull the big number. Last week, 674 does look to have been hurt by Halloween and the World Series. Yep. I would agree. Okay, so they all walk off. MJF poses in the corner. And still to come tonight, we've got Mark Briscoe against Jay White. MJF, Jay White, AEW World Championship 1 week from Saturday. Match of the night so far, said Esteban. Red shirt guy looks like a monster in the crowd, says William. Okay, Taz, Excalibur, Tony Schiavone on commentary. And good for MJF helping younger talent whilst being a young champion, says Tar Heel. All right, we're just hearing from DraftKings. got a black screen. Are you getting DraftKings? Oh, I've just got a graphic now. I've just got an AEW graphic. Let's hear from our sponsors from DraftKings. And now I think I've gone to a commercial break. Perhaps the DraftKings thing is the start of the commercial break, maybe? I don't know. Who knows? Doesn't matter. I wasn't interested in watching a DraftKings commercial anyway, so it doesn't matter. Bembo said, as it's looking like the UK won't get a pay-per-view next year, could we get the 2025 Royal Rumble at Wembley or Tottenham? Sure. Travis said, the worst commentary team ever, Excalibur, should be fired for choking out a wrestler. A lot of people are giving him unnecessary hate, says A. Jobson. Who's getting unnecessary hate? Not JPEG said, is it true LA Knight might have a bad attitude backstage? That was something that was doing the rounds a little while ago now, actually. It's not that I don't know that he's got a bad attitude. It's just that he is someone that will quite happily stand his ground on things. He's not a pushover. He's not a yes man. He's someone that backstage will, share his opinion fairly passionately, as from what I understand. So I don't know that I would word it necessarily as a bad attitude. I don't know that I would necessarily word it as that, but yeah, a little while ago I did see a report that backstage he was maybe not as much of a pushover as they would probably like him to be. What WWE want is they want to give you money and for you to go, yep, will you do this? Mm-hmm, yep. Will you do that? Of course, yeah. What you want? Like that's what they want, innit? And there are people like Sasha, for example, that seems to struggle with that, and CM Punk that seems to struggle with that. And I think LA Knight is maybe cut a little more from that cloth than he is from a R-Truth cloth. R-Truth seems to do whatever they need. Miz will do whatever is needed. So I wouldn't say bad attitude. I think that does him a disservice. From what I've seen, I think that does him a disservice. James said, if being passionate and knowing your wealth is having a bad attitude. Zoom Station said, how do stories like that get out of the locker room? People talk, don't they? People talk. It's a case of like, you've got dirt sheets of, they know wrestlers in the locker room. I know, for example, Sean seems to have a very good relationship with Mia Yim. And I'm not saying it's come from her at all. I'm just saying that they seem to have a little banter online. And there's, you see that online, a few little back and forths between wrestlers and like various dirt sheet writers. And it makes it clear that there is clearly relationships there. Because a lot of these dirt sheet writers know these talents from when they're not in WWE. And then when they get to WWE, obviously they've got like direct connections to the locker room. So this is the kind of way things come out. Plus also, sometimes it doesn't come from the wrestlers. It can come from the pyro guy. It can come from the guy that sets up the ring. It can come from the guy that, does the lighting. Like, there's so many people around backstage. I don't know if you ever watched Swerved, but Swerved has, it was a prank show from like 2015, 2016. And it showed like wrestlers pranking other wrestlers. So, of course, you would see backstage. And I think like on Total Divas, Total Bellas, maybe, I don't know, I never saw Total Bellas. Total Divas, I did see. And you would see backstage as well. The amount of people milling around backstage that are not superstars. I mean, producers, but even producers you've never heard of. People that do lighting, people that do sound, people that do makeup, people that do sorting out the catering. People that build gorilla position and technicians and doctors and so many people around backstage. So, I mean, there's so many potential leaks in there. Right, we've got Sting now and Darby Allin taking on the Outrunners. I like the Outrunners ring gear. Getting Beverly Brothers vibes. Tag being made. Shot coming in over the top rope to the outside. Big shot to the back of the head there by the mustached Outrunner. They're just staying on Collision. It's going to be Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland taking on some other people. And then at Full Gear, Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne against Copeland, Allin, and Sting. Darby down in the corner, and the Outrunners are tagging together well, keeping Allin in the wrong part of town. Allin almost making it over to Sting. Sting on the outsides. Allin goes into the corner. He collides into one of the Outrunners. There's an advert on the edge of the ring, which I've only just noticed. Have you heard about Coachman never going back to WWE? Said not JPEG. No, that's no great loss. Here is the thing, said Mustafa Ali as the Devil Mask. He has a history of hacking and will make a new faction that takes over AEW. Sting is in. Sting going against the ropes. Clothesline, and one of the Outrunners goes to the outsides. I'm getting deja vu looking at these guys and listening to Tony Schiavone calling the match, said Zoom Station. Double axe handle there. Does Bunny go back to TNA, or does NXT give her a chance? What is she? What, Ali? Is she left at AEW? Is she? Clothesline. I haven't heard if she's left. Is that true? She's out of AEW. The Ali. Let's have a look. Injured AEW star expected. Oh, she's just been out injured. That's all. She's apparently expected to come back soon to AEW. Scorpion Deathlock is in for Sting, and Sting picks up the victory. She has been off AEW recently due to an injury sustained against AEW Women's World Champion Jamie Hayter. So Sting and Darby Allin win. If Magnum TA and Hogan made a clone, said Roddy. Big Time said, I've had a terrible week. I lost my 7-month kitten that we'd been searching for. It's cold and rainy in the UK. Family is distressed. We believe she's in someone's house. Oh, that's awful, dude. I'm really sorry to hear that. That's awful. Well, hopefully she is in someone's house. Hopefully she will find her way back, of course. But, yeah, that's horrible. That's tough, innit? Pets. I mean, we've never had that many. We've only had, I mean, we've had like some rabbits, some fish and whatever. But Kia, our dog, is the first, big pet that we've had. We never had like a cat or a previous dog. That's the first one that we've had. So, I couldn't imagine like losing her or whatever. So thoughts with you, buds. Definitely thoughts with you, because that's difficult. That is. Okay, here's the sit down interview. Tony, Timeless Tony, and Hikaru Shida were in black and white. Mr. Siobhan. Hikaru Shida's rubbing her head here. She's struggling with this. What happened to you, Tony? 3. I couldn't make history, so I became history. Hikaru. Hikaru said, what happened? Toni said, you happened. Hikaru knocks the shoe away. Oh, could have done with that being longer, man. So she said, what happened to you, Toni? And Toni said, you happened. I was meant to walk into Wembley with that title. And then I thought, don't worry about it. I will just become the first 3-time women's champion. And then you went and did that as well. So she's saying that if I can't make history, I'm going to become history. So it's good. I'm into it. I'm into that. I'm into Toni Storm. I'm really enjoying her gimmick. She's broken. She's snapped. And I think it's a fun gimmick. She's trying to find something really different that like hasn't been done before. And I think that it's interesting. I don't think any silliness when she wrestles. I think that it's a way of presenting information in a different way. Those silent movies work really well for the picture-in-picture. And it still can get some really good messages across. The thing he used to do, didn't he, Sammy Guevara, with his, his signs, which I thought was quite clever, to be honest. I thought that was clever. And then we stopped doing that, but now we've got like a new way of utilizing picture-in-picture. And I think it's a good way of presenting a promo, really. Rather than her just coming out and cutting a promo like everyone else, she presents her information in this way instead. But when the bell sounds, to be honest, I haven't seen loads of her wrestling. I haven't seen loads of her matches. She's been doing stuff over on Collision, but from what I've seen, she seems like she tends to play it with a straight bat. Seems to be pretty good. The stuff I don't like is when like you've got a character like this that's a bit goofy and a bit out there, but then when the bell sounds, they goof around during the match. So, if when I'm watching her, she's going to start doing that, then that's where I might start hitting into some problems. Because I've said before, for me, wrestling is very simple. We're trying to figure out who the best person is. It's this person against this person. We're trying to work out who's the best. Who should be the champion? Is it this person or this person? So I really do want to see them battling out to see who the best is. And that's where when you've got someone goofing around during the match that's not really taking it seriously, then it can be difficult to kind of get behind those people unless they're low down in the card and that's what they're there for, and they're just going to take losses. But that's clearly not Toni Storm. Toni Storm clearly is here to be a big player in this women's division. So just something that I hope they are aware of. There is a line where this thing could get out of control. But for what I've seen so far, I'm really enjoying it. So definitely a match that I would be looking forward to. Definitely a match I would be hyped for. Hikaru against Toni Storm. Swerve driving an elbow to the back of the head there of Penta. Everyone does a dance. Everyone's got a dance. Swerve doing Prince Nana's dance by the looks of it. Prince Nana is applauding. Mitchell said, did you get a new chair? Yeah, I've had it ages, actually. This has been in a box next to my desk for absolutely ages. The old chair, I said before it wasn't, the old chair, do you remember I was saying it's not comfortable and I was really hurting? I did have this one, but I wasn't sure about it because it's not It's not like crazy expensive or anything, but it is meant to be ergonomic. So I wasn't sure if this was going to be any better, to be honest. But it is a lot. It's less comfortable, but it's more. I feel like I'm sat more upright. I feel like my posture's probably better in this chair. So, and I don't have any pain or anything like I did in the previous one. So far, so good. But yeah, this was on sale ages ago, and it was ergonomic. And I thought, oh, there'll probably come a time where I need a new chair. So I got it, but I was never quite sure. But so far, so good. So far, so good. But if I need to change it again soon, then so be it. It was cheap. It really wasn't that expensive, this chair. I was looking at like some really expensive chairs because I sit down all the time. But I mean, you're getting to that £800,000 mark when you're looking at serious chairs, office chairs. You're getting really, really expensive. But that one, I was starting to get really uncomfortable, yeah. Swerve is in control. We're 36 minutes into the show. Swerve hurling Penta into the corner. Penta goes over the top, double knees to Swerve. I think the show's been all right so far, you know. The Open explained why we were doing the match. MJF Garcia I thought was okay. I didn't think it was any great shakes, but it was fine. We've had the Toni Storm segment, and I'm a fan of Toni Storm. So, I mean, 37 minutes in, I ain't really got much to complain about. I think it's been okay. Like Dragon something. Like Dragon. The man who erased his name. Is that a book? Is it a game? Is it a film? I don't know what it is. Kick coming in there by Penta. Penta goes into the ring, against the ropes, over the top, comes down on Swerve. Like Dragon Gaiden. The man who erased his name. James said you should have got the Joey and Chandler chair in Friends. Yeah. Yeah. That's got a cup holder as well. Do you know what I mean? Be living the high life. But days with Raw getting men's War Games. SmackDown probably get female War Games. What teams do you see? Does a new sign-in help out EO and Kyrie, says A. Jobson. Well, Saray was the rumor, but she's actually just signed with someone else. So I don't know that we get a new sign in there, but there was rumors of a couple of names. There was another name, which I don't think was named, but it could be like an internal person. You know, there's a few thoughts that Cora Jade could be involved somewhere, either with Bailey or with EO, and maybe Asuka goes over and joins. We looked. We have done 4-on-4s before. We've done 4-on-4s. So it could just be that Bailey and Dakota need to. Don't even know if Dakota can compete, to be honest. I don't think she'll be cleared, will she? So Bailey might need to try and find 3 friends. If it is going to go that way, I mean, it could be that we try and do Bailey, Kyrie, EO, and maybe Cora Jades. And they try to coexist during the match. And actually, the match is where it breaks apart. And then they could take on a Bianca, Charlotte. You know, we could easily find people for them to go up against. So I don't know what the teams will be, because I don't know if they'll actually split Damage Control. I mean, Friday's going to be big, so we'll get some big answers on that. But I don't know if they're going to split Damage Control this side of Survivor Series, or if actually Survivor Series might be where it does just fall apart. You know, I to be honest, I would keep it. I would try and keep Survivor Series. I would try and keep Damage Control together for Survivor Series, because I think there is a story there. There's a story in them trying to work together, or at least Bailey trying to work with everyone. I think that Kyrie could be quite clear in, I'm not interested in working with you. I haven't forgotten what you did with me, kind of a thing. Like, it could be that Kairi's all smiles around Io, and when Io's gone, I haven't forgotten type thing with Bayley, and Bayley being all nervous. Like, there's a story there that I would be quite eager to not just throw away by having Damage Control split up. So I would keep them together. So looking at it, do you do Kairi, Io, Bayley, an Akora, or an Asuka, or someone in that group? Asuka could be good over there. And then on the other side, super easy to go Bianca, Charlotte, and just find a couple more people, Shotzi, whoever you want, right? You'll easily get 4 faces together for a team. And it'll be a hodgepodge team, you know, but the story really will be down. Right now, we've got Penta and Swerve in the middle of the ring. Penta trying to pick up Swerve, but arm drag there by Swerve. Swerve round the back, picks up Penta. Another arm drag there by Penta. Swerve comes over, clothesline. Both kicking at each other. Another kick coming in there. Big shot coming in. These two really going at each other at the moment. Clothesline, they both go down. Swerve down. Penta down. And the crowds are applauding. Since Tony Khan is in the chat, do you think he might try to sign Brock Lesnar in the future, said Not JPEG? I don't know that Brock would go, to be honest. I think Brock's very loyal with Vince. I mean, he walked out, didn't he, when he heard that Vince had been removed? He was like, I'm done, I'm off. So I think WWE have always looked after him. He is a man that can have his head turned by money, I've no doubt about that. But I would think that WWE would do whatever they could to keep Brock. He's I think they're highest paid. I think he gets more than Roman. It's him and Roman, obviously, at the top of the, you know, highest paid. But yeah, there'd have to be a falling out, I think, in order for Brock to go over to AEW. Penta has got Swerve on his shoulders and planted Swerve down with like an AA type move. Now Swerve's coming over to Penta. It will probably be War Games. Damage Control, Kairi against Bianca, Charlotte, Becky, Asuka. Asuka turns on the faces, and Io and Kairi turn on Damage Control. Double turn, says Colonel of Comedy. Here we go. Over Penta, up to the outsides, into a Destroyer. So, Canadian Destroyer on the edge of the ring, and Swerve spills to the outsides. I gotta tell you, this ain't a bad match, you know. I'm really not a fan of Penta. I think he just does move, and sells very little. But this one feels like it's a little better with its selling. It still feels like it's move. I mean, Penta's still acting like nothing's wrong with him right now. Double stomp there by Penta. Going for the cover of Swerve, and Swerve gets his shoulder up. Crowds are invested. Yeah, honestly, I don't think it's been a bad match, this. Penta grabbing Swerve in the middle of the ring. Swerve selling his shoulder. He tries to throw a shot, but he can't. Penta... I don't even know what that move was, to be honest. I don't know what that was. 1, 2, kick out by Penta. He sort of flipped over, but he didn't really achieve anything, Penta. Is this a better angle? So Penta had his legs on Swerve. Swerve just sort of chucked him up. Penta rotated round and just sort of fell on the floor. There's a "This is awesome" chant that's broken out as Penta gets kicked, and there's a stomp to Penta as Penta goes to the outside. He was caught on that bottom rope momentarily. That's actually one of the best, like, Tree of Woe type moves I've seen. I hate the Tree of Woe when they're in the corner and they're holding onto the ropes and they're literally just waiting for someone to stomp onto them, right? But that version of it there was probably as good as I've seen it done because it was so quick with Penta, like falling to the outside and then Swerve coming straight down on him. Penta didn't have time to know that Swerve was coming. So yeah, that was actually good. There's a couple of moves in here that are a little sloppy. There was a reversal there that didn't quite go to plan. Swerve just gets planted by Penta and Swerve kicks out. Penta in the middle of the ring trying to get back up to his feet. It was a pump handle slam of some description. Rolled through there by Swerve. Goes for a kick. Single leg drop kick. Penta moves out the way. Kick to the body by Penta. Penta. Package pile driver. No. Swerve goes over the top, chop to the back of their heads. Swerve trying to pick up Penta, looking to get him up onto his shoulders. Death Valley driver. Like another AA type move, and Swerve again struggling to stomp down on the arm. Oh, it sounded brutal. Sounded good. Sounded good. He had the arm like that, and then he stomped down on it, and now stomps down on Penta. 1, 2, 3. His shoulder looks up. Penta's shoulder looked... When he got stomped down on, he kind of like had his body turned like this, and I don't think Aubrey saw it. It was good. Swerve's trying to remove Penta's mask. Hangman's come in and he's chasing Swerve away. I think I would have had that just a whisper shorter. I think it just went just a touch too long. Not much. Not much. Good. I liked it. I mean, whisper it, but so far. So far. We're doing all right here. We're doing all right. Some good technical moves there. This is good, said Roddy. Big Time said, did you see the tweet I tagged you in? Apparently news broke that NXT News new home is in 78 million homes and not 100 million homes. It's 6 million more than USA. Brandon Thurston's WWE going to that lower tier channel is risky. Hangman is being dragged away. I did see it. I feel comfortable that I know the situation. We had a look on the Wrestling Escape Pod. CW Network was the 11th most viewed network, I think in like 2019 or something like that. And last year it was the 25th most viewed network. It's 5 spots below USA Network. And it feels like it's every TV or any TV should be able to get it. So it feels to me like they are not doing brilliant at the moment. Their lineup of programming is not that strong. But I think they're a sleeping giant is kind of what we've established, because a few years ago they were much higher up in the list of most viewed channels. So it doesn't feel like a bad move. I would say that there's probably not a load of traffic that's on there, and their hope is that getting NXT will bring more traffic there. So yeah, this is going to have to have been factored in. I mean, they're earning double what they're getting. So, you know, is there going to be a decrease in viewership? Yeah, there could be. Because they're, you know, it is a less viewed channel. USA Network is 20th last year, and this is 25th. So it is a less viewed channel. But the potential is that it can be not a bad channel. I mean, it's got good reach. So any movement is going to be a risk. Any move is going to be a gamble. So they will have worked out if that was the right gamble for them. And obviously we'll find out if it is or if it isn't. But getting double what you're already being paid, if, you know, I believe they're going from 15 million a year to 30 million a year, something like that. That is that was, considering the other offers on the table, that must have been the best offer they had. I'm asking if I should start looking out for juveniles, says William. Brandon Thurston suggested NXT's move is either one of three things: ratings will grow, stay the same, or plummet. Yeah. I'm also saying that as well. I also think their ratings are going to grow, stay the same, or plummet. God, how much technical? I bet he had to crunch some numbers for that one, didn't he? I bet his supercomputer was whirling away. Out comes the result. Okay, turns out NXT is going to either do better, the same, or worse. There we go. Wild. What am I watching? What is this? It's an advert for a game. Is this like Yakuza or something? They did say that they had some sort of agreement with Sega. I heard of them having a relationship with Sega. I don't think I caught the name of the game. Triple H. Colonel said, in my opinion, I feel like a wrestling company could change the game by putting a show on Netflix, but make each episode a story about a certain character, followed by a 5-minute squash and a pay-per-view-esque finale. The video package is funny, says Mitchell. SmackDown started on UPN, said Zoom Station. Right, we are at commercial break. Jobson said, shouldn't MJF forfeit the Ring of Honor tag titles? How can he just find a partner, especially one he has never teamed with? I just, please, yes. I think it was awful in winning those tag titles. I think it's awful him winning them, awful him defending them, him beating the righteous on his own, and all this kind of malarkey. I mean, yeah. Should he? Yeah. For any reason. Because I think it's stupid him having them, to be honest. Trini says, it's not your responsibility to look out, except for those you want to. If you notice something that's uncomfortable, remove it. Colonel Comedy said, pitch me a storyline. Give me your best. No. Mitchell, shout out to you. William said, I'm regretting my comments. Am I too vulgar? Should I be more kid-friendly? Kids ruin everything. Kids do ruin everything. Bots Die Surgery said, how are you watching all the streams live? Sky in New Zealand just shows WWE live. In the UK, we've got TNT Sports that show Raw, SmackDown, and NXT live. If you want to watch AEW, you have to go to Fight TV. It's a website. So you go to Fight TV and you pay, I think it's like $6.99 a month, and then you can watch Collision, Rampage, and Dynamite all live. So unfortunately, I don't think they're on TV here in the UK live. You have to go through this malarkey. Malarkey! Right, we are done with commercial break, and we are going back. Big Time said, Thurston's the same guy that tracks the median age for wrestling shows. SmackDown is 55, NXT is 54, Raw is 52, AEW is 50, Impact and New Japan is 65 plus. Here is Kenny and Jericho. When Don proposed this match, he didn't realize that Kota Ibushi and Paul White would have our backs. Here's the Bucks. I like what you're doing here. So the Bucks are upset with Kenny. The Golden Jets. The Elite. Do you know another cool name? The Elite. You didn't have Kenny's back when Will Hobbs was beating Kenny up a few weeks ago. Jericho said, I thought it was the four of us that got this company off the ground. I want you to remember who you're talking to. This is quite interesting. I think Jericho and Omega can beat you. There's a show in our hometown of Los Angeles. Are they going to do Jericho, the Golden Jets, against the Young Bucks? Let's put some more steam on it. That guaranteed title shot that you're sitting on, it goes to us if we beat you, says Jericho. How about this Golden Jets thing goes away? And we can start doing the Elite again. If this is about who's the greatest tag team of all time, it's you guys. If you're asking if I think I can beat you, we've been down that road. We've done it before. This is a good segment. Oh my God. This has been a good hour. We'll beat you, and hopefully that means you'll start acting like adults rather than whiny children. See you around. See you in LA. Jericho said he's got his own dressing room. Doesn't even need to be in their dressing room. He's doing it for lols. Do you know what? You got to give him credit, man. And now we're going to Keith Lee against Samoa Joe, which is not a match that I was like crazy looking forward to, but it's not a match I'm down on. The only reason I love Samoa Joe is just Keith Lee has not done much in a long time for me. But this is, you know, this set the stage. This is, you know, he's had 13 matches this year. It's the 9th of November. So we ain't got loads to deal with when it comes to Keith Lee. We ain't seen him loads. Some of them matches going to be on house shows and Collision and Rampage and whatever, you know. So we ain't been seeing loads of Keith Lee. So I'm not down on this either. I'm stunned that I've seen something that I would actually refer as a decent Penta match. That has blown my mind. Garcia MJF was okay. It's fine. I wasn't offended by it. Could have been. I wasn't. Had Garcia been dancing his way through the 15 minutes, it would have done my head in. But he kind of dialed that down and said, tonight you're going to get the professional wrestler. And I thought he did okay. So the matches have been fine. The Toni Storm segment, I enjoy Toni Storm. That little backstage thing was quite interesting. That's been bubbling along in the background for a little while. And now we've got Samoa Joe and Keith Lee. And I would say probably more people have asked me about this match than have asked me about anything else that's like on this show. So feel free to put in your halftime scores. We'll see. And be honest. Now, if you think this is trash, you're allowed to say it's trash. If you think it's good, you're allowed to say it's good. If you think it's really good, you're allowed to say it's really good. But I don't know. Am I on my own? Have I got a fever or something? Perhaps I'm still going through the pain of my tooth removal. I don't know. I think this has been fine. It's flown. Danny is giving it a 6. Yeah, put in your scores. Charles with a 7. Marty says 5. Andy with a 7. Wisp said 2. Erasure Mind said 7. Mitchell said, honestly, 7725. Lone Wolf said 6.5 to 7. KW said 6.5. Not JPEG said 7. Big Time says 7. It's safe to say Jericho messed up, ruined the Golden Lovers against Callous storyline. Is it safe to say he messed it up or ruined it? I don't know. I don't think he's ruined it. Well, he's a part of it. Because they were trying to recruit him, weren't they? They wanted... Wasn't the very first thing Don Callis was trying to do, other than turn on Kenny, was try and recruit Jericho? And then like they went for those meals and all this kind of stuff, and Jericho was interested, and then he ended up turning him down. So I feel like he's been a part of the story, like really since it... Maybe not right at the start when Callis turned on Kenny, but it was the very next thing after that. So I can't say he's ruined it. He's been very much a part of it. Roddy said 7.2. A. Jobson said 5. Mr. Tar Heel said 6.5 to 7. It's been decent. How do you know Keith Lee hasn't, says Tony. Zoom Station says 7. Travis said 3. Dort Knight said 6.75. Curse One said 5. Tony Khan said 7.5. Mike said 6.8. Hacker Tomorrow says 4. Boomer said 3.5. Mike said 6.9. Isn't Jericho and Kenny already wrestling at Full Gear? They have got a match coming up, but I don't believe it's at Full Gear. I won't be acknowledging 1 out of 10 or 10 out of 10 scores, said Dort Knight. Mitchell said, what's your score? I'm probably at like a 7.25. Like, I actually think this is good. I don't think this is okay. I think, it's okay. I feel a bit more positive about it than that. Like, honestly, there are weeks where I'm sat here and I just want to put pins into my eyes. Like, people know that I have struggled with this company. People know that, like, I have more than flirted with the idea of stopping these streams. And genuinely, that last hour is one of the better hours I've seen probably this year. There was nothing in there that I was offended by. There was nothing... Could things have been better? Yeah. MJF, Daniel Garcia, we weren't getting this is awesome chance. It weren't like edge of the seat thrilling stuff. So, that could have been stronger. The Penta Swerve match I thought was good. I thought it was good. Could it have been better? Could have been better. But I thought it was good. The MJF segment at the start I thought was decent. Toni Storm I enjoy. Yeah, there's not loads to like. If we'd have got like an OMG moment in there, like, something that really was like, whoa, maybe we'd be getting to 7.75, knocking on the door of 8s, and then you make those matches stronger, and then you're starting to get like well into the 8s. So yeah, I for me, like, I'm at about like a 7.25. Now we're underway with this match. We got both guys on the outsides, and shots coming in by Keith Lee. Chop coming in by Samoa Joe. Another chop there by Samoa Joe. Keith Lee is backing up. Another chop by Joe. Joe trying to smash Keith Lee into the edge of the ring. Samoa Joe goes into the edge of the ring. And Samoa Joe gets into the ring. Keith Lee on the outsides. It's a little bit slow here. I don't know if we're in picture. This is always what ruins matches or can play a part in ruining matches. momentum just dies, and then it turns out we're at commercial break. Shoulder to the midsection there by Keith Lee. And again, Samoa Joe in the corner. Keith Lee doing some work in the corner at the moment. He's got his forearm across the face of Samoa Joe. I like less gimmicks tonight and a new ring apron, said Zoom Station. Deadpool Party said, would you get one of the timeless Toni Storm dolls for your son or daughter? I think it would be kind of inappropriate. Well, they're only little figures like this big, to be honest. So they're not like, I don't believe they're big dolls or anything. I think those little micro brawlers are like little collectible. I think they don't they like tend to put them in their like mystery boxes, and I kind of like them because you can get loads of different ones and they do them for just like limited time. So if you was someone that collected them, I would imagine the value of some of them have probably increased because they don't make them all the time. And so they're only like limited things. You can get like Big Show as Captain Insano in his Captain Insano costume. And they advertise them like, you know, every now and again. Actually, I might have a look and see. I mean, I would get one for me. I really like her. I think she's really fun. Micro Brawlers. I mean, you can get Retro USA Sting. You can get some fun ones. Did they do a... Oh, no. I was going to say, did they do a ring? You can get Demolition, you know. You can get Macho Man. You can get Shockmaster. Oh, my God. So... Joe is getting back up to his feet. Here you can see like a few of them. You can see the Shockmaster one in the middle. I can probably get a better window capture than that. Samoa Joe is in control. Look at that. Look at this Macho King one down here. Macho King, Ric Flair. Virgil. There's the Shockmaster one. Next to it is Razor Ramon as well. Scott Hall. And oh, there's a collection. Look at these. Cody in a suit, Andre the Giant, Vader, CM Punk, Legion of Doom, Kenny Omega in the background. I mean, according to this, look. $17.99 each, £18 each. You can get Kamala, and I think there's the Iron Sheik as well. Is that Bruiser Brody? I mean, the range is absolutely brilliant. There's MJF, there's Zack Sabre Jr., there's Kamala, Owen Hart, Taya Valkyrie, Terry Funk, Rob Van Dam. I mean, flipping Honky Tonk Man. And how do they get the rights to do some of these? The Bucks. They do like Chase ones and Rowdy Roddy Piper. Is that Skinner? Skinner. Demolition. I really like them, actually. I mean, look at that. Look at that. The Devil one as well. The Devil with the chip. Jake the Snake Roberts. Look at that one. Look at that. I mean, they don't move. They're not articulate or anything. 2023 limited edition. Yeah, man. These little collectible things, they are flipping like... What I love about them is they're small. You know, the thing with Mattel figures is they're quite big and they're going to be expensive. The problem is I think these are expensive as well. Pro Wrestling Tees. I believe it's Pro Wrestling Tees that you get them from. Keith Lee with a German suplex. Micro Rollers. We're not sponsored by these, but it's only available for 2 weeks, you know. Timeless Toni Storm. Keith Lee goes back against the ropes. There ain't many. There's Keith Lee tried for a cover. $17.99. It's too expensive, man. It's too expensive. I mean, that's the same cost as well. Probably a couple of pounds cheaper than an Elite figure, a Mattel Elite figure. So $17.99. That is pretty steep, isn't it? That is pretty steep. I'm making a huge announcement in 2 weeks on this channel. There ain't many on the Pro Wrestling Tees. Samoa Joe has got a submission hold applied. Choke is him. Keith Lee's in trouble. He's got a bit of blood on his tongue. Looks like he's bitten his tongue. He's fading. He's fading fast. You could probably get a load off eBay. Didn't you? I'm going to have a look. Keith Lee has faded and Samoa Joe has emerged victorious. That's better. I could get Skinner for $7.50. You could get a bundle of 5 for £7.56. Ricky the Dragon. You can get a few here. Look, that's better, isn't it? Look at them. You can get 5 there. $7.56. £10, $9.99. Danhausen for 20. No. Jay Lethal. Black Machismo. 25. Jesus. Some of these prices are steep. Oh, British Bulldog 20. Akeem 18. Valkyrie 15. Samoa Joe 17. You could properly get trapped in that. Oh my God. Look at that Okada. Look at the Okada. Look at the detail on the Rainmaker. That is sick, man. 12 quid for that. Damn. Or old school Sting. These are, honestly. IRS. Magic. Hana Kimura. Ultimo Dragon. Samoa Joe said he's hungry. He's relinquishing it. He's left it in the ring. What is this about? The next gold's AEW World Championship. Samoa Joe wants the AEW World Championship. I want him to have the AEW World Championship. He's relinquished the Ring of Honor TV title. He wants the AEW World Championship. Mitchell says, buy the Okada. It's sick, isn't it? It is sick. There's the it is proper tempting. Proper tempting. And have you seen like the Macho, Hana Kimura, Ultimo Dragon? Look at the Shockmaster, 12 quid for the Shockmaster. Bret Hart, Boogeyman, Frankenhausen, Danhausen, Adam Cole, Zack Sabre Jr., Harley Race, 1, 2, 3 kids. Oh my God. Look at all these, man. These ones we just looked at. Didn't we just look at these? Brian Myers, Adam Bomb. Oh! Chris Hero. These are sick, man. Orange Cassidy with his hand in his pocket. Thunder Rosa, Johnny Gargano, El Generico. Oh, God. The problem is, if you get one, you're not just going to settle with one, are you? If you get one, like, you're going to keep going. Oh, God. They've got Luna Vachon. Have they got Bull Nakano? Have they got Bull Nakano? If they've got Bull Nakano, I might break. I might break. If they've got Bull. I don't think they do. Don't think they do. Bull Nakano, Micro Brawler. There is a Bull Nakano figure. Bollywood Boys making their AEW debut. We've got the Gang Gang Bang of the Gang Bang, the Bang Gang, Bang Bang Gang, Gang Gang Bang, Bang Gang are here. Yeah, there's no Bull Nakano. They're going to get around to doing one, though, aren't they? They'll do one. King Yeti said 1 month of WWE Network. I appreciate it, my friends. I appreciate the support. It's greatly appreciated. And honestly, some of this money might be going to micro. I can't say it's not going to because I am proper tempted. Some absolutely brilliant ones that they make. I've got to admit, I've seen them, and occasionally I've seen ones that have made me go, oh, they're nice. I like those. Like, that's cool. Like the Toni Storm one at the moment. Oh, the Gang Bang, Gang Bang, Gang, Bang Gang. The Guns. Oh, they're not called that, actually. They're called the Guns. The Guns have won. Yeah, that... I think the Okada one might be the best one so far. I'm not sure. What a distraction. Mitchell said, you've got to get that Okada one. It's awesome. I hear you. I hear you. I'm just very worried that if I get one becomes two. You know, one becomes two. It's the Spice Girls song that was, you know, a massive hit. We're hearing from the Guns. They've got Kota Ibushi, Jungle Boy. It's real glass. We've never been told no. We've never been told we're not ready. We've been doing this for 3 years. We are generational talents. I pray to God you pick one of these fat pieces of... Do you know what? I might be getting this a cards one. It is really tempting. It looks amazing. Okay, so they're talking to Max saying that those ROH titles are going to go back into the hands of a real tag team. We got 2 words for you. Guns up. Got 2 words for you. Guns up. So there we go. They were pretty fired up. They've sent a very clear message. Now Samoa Joe has come over to MJF. Samoa Joe vacating his title, making it clear he's coming for MJF. Smile on the face of Samoa Joe. We're backstage with Wheeler Yuta and John Moxley. Hacha. Was that Smiley, Kylie Ray, and Tessa Blanchard's? Kylie. What example am I setting for young Wheeler? I don't think there's a Kylie Ray. There's a Candice LeRae. Candice LeRae's got one. There is a Tessa. It's expensive. It looks like a rare one, to be honest. Pro Wrestling Crate exclusive. Red ring gear. That one at the bottom that's 107 is actually signed at the top by the looks of it. So, yeah, there is a Tessa. I feel like they did a Kylie Ray. I feel like I have seen one. Oh, he talks. See you in Cali, pretty boy. Yeah, no, I can't see a Kylie Ray one, but there is a Tessa one, and we are at commercial break. Well, I've been very entertained, to be honest. With less than 40 minutes to go, you know, Samoa Joe against Keith Lee. I know I was looking at that, but I was, you know, was keeping an eye. Keeping an eye. The Okada one is great. It is great. Roddy said, all this gun promotion is causing children to go out and commit violence, such as pretending to be wrestlers. Jobson said, Tony didn't want Joe suffering an L and then announcing he's going for a world title. He did the best thing in his mind. Well, I don't hate it, to be honest, because I think that Samoa Joe is he's someone I really want to be champion. So if we're going to build him up to be not unbeaten monster, but if we're going to build him up to be on quite a run, like really have that momentum, you know, going towards taking on MJF, and that's the match we're building towards, then yeah, you know, I don't hate it. I don't hate it. I don't, you know, it's the Ring of Honor TV title. It's not something that I'm really that bothered about, to be honest. If it was a title that was like really important, prestigious and all that kind of stuff, maybe I'd feel a bit different. But because it's the Ring of Honor TV title, I'm all right with him leaving it in the ring and walking off going, there's something more I want, thanks. I've had this long enough. Probably doesn't do the title any good, but I don't care about the title anyway, personally. That title don't mean much to me anyway. So I can't say it's gone drastically down in my estimations. So I don't mind it. I feel like there's been some stuff that's been going on in this show. I feel like there's a less silliness on the show as well. I don't feel like I'm watching a show that's like full of silliness. I feel like I'm watching something worthwhile. I am shocked because I don't know where this show's come from, because I've not been feeling this way about AEW for a long time. So this show is kind of really catching me off guard. But I've always said we'll always give out honest reactions. And honestly, we're nearly like 3/4 of the way through the show, and it's fine. It's good. I'm not bored. I'm not down on it. Can they keep it going though? What else have we got that's coming up? Oh well, we've got Red Velvet against Julia Hart. That's going to be a challenge. Jay White in the main event against Mark Briscoe. Maybe Red Velvet, Julia Hart will just be short, and then we can get to Mark Briscoe, Jay White, and maybe that'll be a banger. You know, I think that this is on course for a good score. Is this Julia Hart now then? Okay, Julia Hart coming out now. I think, is this our first women's match? A very interesting match, according to Excalibur. He said it's a true test for both competitors, young competitors. It has been good. It's crept up to a 7 for me, says Tortnight. Alfie, hello, bud. I hope you're doing well. Shout out to you. Here's Red Velvet. Coming out of your mama's kitchen. Oh, she changed her ring attire. She's got an apron. Is that an apron? Is that what that's meant to be? Coming out of your mama's kitchen. Looks like an apron. It is an apron. Tony said it's great to see Red Velvet's back. She's a great athlete. And she takes the apron off. That's wild, isn't it? I don't think I've ever seen an entrance apron before. Coming out of your mama's kitchen. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name. That is the Sega game that's available tomorrow. Like a Dragon Gaiden. Okay, these two locking up. Mama's kitchen. She would be barefoot days and baby on board on her apron, says William. James said, we want Rosa. King Yeti said, Sean O'Hare says, buy one days. Addiction is a good thing. King Yeti, shout out to you, my friends. I really appreciate the support, but I don't appreciate the fact that you're trying to drive me towards another addiction and another collection that's going to take up even more space. And we know it's a slippery slope. But people have been very, very supportive on this stream in an attempt to try and get me to embrace that dark side. That's, I think the Okada one might be the one that has stood out. But I got to be honest, there genuinely are several that I looked at and went, man, that is nice. Do you know, they do a couple of different Andres as well. So you look at that. Look at that retro Andre. How cool is that? And then, like, of course, you can get, like, Andre in the black singlet, WrestleMania 3. But, like, that retro Andre is really cool as well. 70s retro Andre. It's just a shame that then they are so expensive. I really thought these would be around, like, the £10 mark. But you can see there's clearly a market for these because this one's like 70. If you keep them in their packaging, I mean, that actually for 40 quid, these don't look like too bad of a price, do they? When you see like some of these others where people are asking for 70 and 65, these ones for like 40 don't kind of strike you as quite as bad. I mean, even this one here is 78 quid. So they seem to have some value to... Look at that Hangman Page. They seem to have some value to them. Ooh. A macho in purple. Skinner. There's the Candice LeRae. Greg the Hammer Valentine as well. You get Greg. You can get the Berserker. The Hurricane. Sting, Brody Lee, Akeem the African Dream, Owen Hart. That's not. I don't think that's a micro brawler. That doesn't strike me as a micro brawler. Chibi, don't know what that is. The face doesn't look right, does it? Not sure what that one is. CM 100 quid for CM Punk. What? What are you on about? Axe, Steiner, El Generico, Smash. They are good. Been around years. I know they've been around years. There must be oh my, wow, look at the Brutus. That's the most excited I think I've ever been for Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Bushi, Cody, Owen. But Starch said, order it! Order it! But people have been so kind. I think we will. I think we will get one. I think we will end up getting one. Kit coming in. We're on the entrance ramp at the moment. Get the Okada on. Shoulder up there by Red Velvet. Red Velvet is down at the moment. I am looking at them and there we go. I bought it. I bought the Okada one. Let's go. Okay, we was at commercial break. I bought it. So when it arrives, I will show it to you. I'll actually show it on stream so you know that it was purchased. But a big thank you to everyone that's sent in donations. You have now started me on a road towards a flipping brand new collection, as I can't imagine me not buying an Andre. I can't imagine me not buying several of the other ones that has already caught my eye. The Okada one was that was the one though, wasn't it? I mean, that's the one that looked really, really cool. But honestly, I think there's a few. But a big thank you to everyone that just made that possible. I mean, I'm even now looking at the 5 that you can get, Akeem and Ricky the Dragon and everything. That's £7.50. But I don't want to go down this road. I don't want to do this. This isn't the path I want to go down in life. Let's close that down, shall we? We've already purchased one. Okada, though, come on, that's pretty sick, isn't it? That is pretty sick. I am pleased with it. As I said, a big thank you to people for goading me into that. So there we go then. A new collection starting up now. This is going to become Micro Brawler days. We was at commercial break, and she's got a knee in a brace, so she must have done her ACL or something. Kick coming in there by Julia Hart. Red Velvet goes down. Dead Man Talking said, do one more hit. Do one more hit. Just one more. You know it's going to feel so good. Yeah, it's going to feel so good, isn't it? I'm trying to go cold turkey, guys. I'm trying to come off. I'm trying to find a way out. Why won't you help me be a better person? When do you ever go up to an addict going, yeah, go on, do one more, go on. Moonsault by Julia Hart. 2, 3, and there we go. We go. That wasn't painful. Cena is on his way back to Hollywood. The strike is over, says James. Aubrey said member streams is where we can pressure days into buying more. Mitchell said we're here. Make sure you show the purchases on stream. When it arrives, I will show it. Does it say when it's coming, actually? Who's coming down? Is this Willow? No, Sky Blue. Sky Boobs. Sky Boobs is making her way down. Let's go. Sky Boobs, Sky Boobs, Sky Boobs, Sky Boobs. Sky Boobs getting right into the face of Julia. Sky Boobs is staring at Julia. Now we've got Chris Statlander and Willow coming down. Chris Statlander gets in the way of Sky Blue. Should be here by, says Saturday to Tuesday. Saturday to Tuesday. So that should mean next week's AEW stream. Oh, God. If it comes and it's awesome, we might end up buying another one next week, mightn't we? There's just lots of looks at each other, isn't there? There's lots of, like... Here's RJ City. Mariah May is here. What are your intentions? I just come from Stardom. I don't know this girl. I'm a big fan of your work, she says to RJ City. She looks a little bit like Toni, actually, doesn't she? You're going to introduce me to Toni Storm? She gives RJ City a kiss. Well, there we go. King Yeti said, we will get you off the junk if it gets bad, said King Yeti. Thank you. Appreciate it. I may need the help of this community to help get me through this new addiction that I've now established. I think if I don't think about it, and then potentially we could have a look again next week and see if there's anything that catches the eye next week, you know. Saying that we're going to do it, but there's a few here that definitely look good. I mean, I'm looking at you, Andre the Giant. I'm looking at you, Shockmaster. Hey, look at the Shockmaster. Amazing. It's Samoa Joe. I'm the boogeyman. Danielson. I mean, yeah, I am. 1, 2, 3 kids. I know we've looked at some of these already. Have we gone to page 4? Jungle Boy, Lex Luger. There's a bagged Okada. William Regal. Oof. Jeff Cobb. One Man Gang. Let's go. Ultimate Warrior. These bagged and boxed ones, though, I mean, I ain't into this. These are too expensive. Psh, too rich for me. I ain't made of money. So all these ones that are still boxed, jeez. Ooh, Takahashi. Demolition. Chris Hero. Gold Okada. Gold. God damn. Coco Beware with Frankie. Oh my God. Bruiser Brody. That's sick as well. Harley Race. I mean, it. Naito. Oh. Naito. Oh, mates. This all started because of that timeless Toni Storm one. Even that's awesome. But I ain't paying 17 quid. Forget that. Forget that, mates. So it starts. This is how the the Mattel figures flipping. See, I got micro on the brain now. Now all I'm thinking about is micro. Look at this. Look at this one. Sammy Guevara with his boards that he holds up during the ad break and a pen so you can write on his boards. That's actually quite clever, isn't it? That's quite clever. That was in AEW crate. Make your own sign edition of Sammy Guevara holding up the sign. Come on, that's pretty good. Here's Switchblades. Switchblades, Jay White. He is taking on Jay Briscoe. Mark Briscoe. Getting my Briscoes mixed up. Okay. Jay White is going over to the corner. Is Dem Boys. Great reaction for Mark Briscoe. How long ago was it when Jay passed away? Was it last year? No, it was actually this year. January 17th. Seems a little longer back than that, but I suppose it was right at the start of the year. So Mark Briscoe has made his way down. I haven't seen him in a while, to be honest. Why would Samoa Joe lose when he's been on a roll and is headed for a world title? Mitchell said, big time, they are both great wrestlers. No offense to Jay and Mark, but this is what we wait 2 hours for. Is this a main event that's worth waiting for? AEW World Championship for everyone who doesn't know. Mariah May being All Elite is damn cool. She was so good in Stardom, said James. Mariah is like AEW's Tiffany Stratton. She's going to have a Mickie James Trish-obsessed angle with Toni Storm. Well, I don't know anything about her. I'll quite happily hold my hands up to that. So it is difficult for me to get excited because I don't know anything about her, but I'm not down on her. Yeah, see how it goes. I think the fact she's coming from Stardom is very promising. That is a promotion that I have a lot of time for. So, okay, we've got 16 minutes left in the show, and I think this has been one of the best Dynamites I've seen in a hot minute, to be honest. Knees coming in there by Jay White. Jay White going back against the ropes. Next week on Dynamite, John Moxley and Wheeler Yuta against Orange Cassidy and Hook. Wow. It was good whilst it lasted, eh? It was good whilst it lasted. We had a good week this week. That'll get us through to Full Gear. We'll live off the fumes of this week. I would have much preferred they tear it down in the first match and save Garcia MJF for the main event, said Big Time. WWE AEW fan said, I did watch Jay's last match at Final Battle last year, and I've not watched Ring of Honor since. Woopack AP said, Samoa Joe relinquished the title rather than losing it to Keith Lee. It's got to be one of the most stupid things I've seen in wrestling. Big Time said, Days, do jinx it. Usually a great... Oh, don't jinx it. Usually a great Dynamite does a bad rating and a bad one does a good one. Just, I'm not bothered if it does a bad rating. Doesn't bother me. What bothers me a hell of a lot more is when I watch the show, I'm not crying at the end of it. So the fact that this has been like a good Dynamite for me, if this comes out at 500,000, I don't give a flip. It doesn't make any difference to my life. Instead, I've had a rather fun Wednesday night. It's been a pleasure. It's been no chore whatsoever, and I think they've done some decent stuff. Briscoe going against the ropes. Goes through the ropes, drop kick into Switchblade. Switchblade goes down. Briscoe getting the crowd all fired up. He's charging over, drops an elbow on Switchblade that's down on the outside. WWE AEW fan said the show is about 625 for me right now. Jobson said Maria May is a stalker or a big fan archetype? Question mark. This is the main event because of the post-match segment, said Tony. Roll through there by Briscoe. He looks for a clothesline. DDT by Switchblades. Briscoe goes down. Jay White hurling Briscoe out the ring. Jay White was looking to go over the top to the outside, but his knee gives out, and that allows the rest of the Gangbang Gang to start kicking away at Briscoe. Bang, 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 bang. So Jay White with a distraction of the referee, but Briscoe starts trying to fight back. Into the barricade goes Switchblades. Over into the Gang Bang Gang. Briscoe on the edge of the ring. Going to look to charge over. Everyone's moved out the way, leaving Jay White on his own, but they grab him and drag him out the way. That means that Briscoe ends up hurling himself to the outside. He crashes and burns. So we've got loads of bodies down on the outside of the ring right now. Jobson said, I think Tony should wait out Jack Perry's contract as the fans will turn on him. What, the fans will turn on Jack Perry, do you think? You see, I think the fans blame CM Punk. It feels like most fans have gave up on CM Punk. I don't know how much they'll blame Jack Perry. It'll be a very interesting reaction that Perry's going to get. Is he going to get hate for his part in it? You know, have the fans just turned on both? I genuinely don't know. What do you think? In fact, let's do that as a poll, because I think that's a really interesting question. What reaction will Jack Perry receive when he returns? What do you think? When Jack Perry comes back, do you think he'll get a positive reaction? Well done, you got rid of CM Punk. A mixed reaction of people loving and some people hating, or a negative reaction of like, you're a douche, he was a douche, you're both douches, you should both go. I wonder if it'll be positive, negative, or mixed. I genuinely don't know, which would probably make me vote mixed. But some of you might have a better read of this than me. In fact, definitely some of you will have a better read of this than me, because I don't go on to like AEW forums or anything, so I don't know what people are saying. Poll time, said Erase Your Minds. James said, the main reason I can't stand ratings is because it's only America it counts. It should be worldwide. Worldwide. Mike said, Jay anniversary is coming up. Mr. Tar Heel fan said, have you heard anything about a Jamie Hayter return? I have not. I have not searched for a Jamie Hayter return information. But Jamie Hayter lost the championship in May 2023. Take time off due to injury. In a recent interview, Khan said that neither AEW nor Hayter know when she'll be back. We're very confident you will see in a matter of months. And this was... There's no date on this interview, is there? 3 months ago, this was. The current estimated return for Jamie Hayter, according to Dave Meltzer of the Wrestling Observer newsletter, is February. Due to various injuries, although this is a rough estimate. Another report indicated it wasn't expected Hayter would return in 2023. So it looks pretty good that she is out for this year. And February is what we're looking at. But if it turns out to be January, might not be a surprise. Maybe she returns at Revolution. That's about that time, isn't it? Isn't that like February time? Kick coming in by Briscoe. Perry should have been fired, but I'm sure he'll be rewarded for helping the unprofessional EVPs chase in Punk out of the company, said Travis. A. Jobson said the firing was a huge work. The Beach Kevin said ratings only matter in terms of selling ads. Since no ads are shown outside the US streams, they don't matter. Mitchell said there's no way Punk returns. Mr. Tar Heel fan said, are you expecting any surprises at Full Gear? Don't know, to be honest. Not really. I mean, I don't really know who they could go and get outside of Mercedes Moné, who we've been waiting for a long time, and she was at Wembley, and word on the street is that she was meant to be coming in at, like, Forbidden Door, and she was meant to do the Wembley show, and clearly there's some relationship there for her to be sat in the crowds. So I don't know when she's cleared and when she's ready to go. To be honest, I mean, if she did her injury in, May, broken ankle, probably about 6 months. I mean, I was out for a summer with a broken ankle. So I don't know. I don't know if she needs a bit longer but it's probably got to be about time for her to, start to look at a return. I could see her being at Wrestle Kingdom. That's January. But will she make it in time for a Full Gear? Even if she doesn't wrestle, could she just appear and make her presence felt? Elbow by Briscoe. 1, 2. Kick out by Jay. Kick out by Jay. I don't watch a lot of wrestling outside of Impact, said Jaden. WWE and AEW. Is Maria any good? Don't know. I don't watch much outside of WWE and AEW. I don't even watch Impact. So we'll find out. Apparently she's joining us from Stardom. Stardom are a very good women's promotion. I've got to think that if she has been there and had a little run there, that she is certainly going to be highly trained and of a very high standard. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she's going to bring. Jay White picking up and driving Briscoe down and kick out by Briscoe. Tony Khan will sign Mercedes just for her to walk out in another company again, said James. I had a dislocated foot that took a year to rehab to get my balance and weight back on both feet, said Defcon Prime. Big Time said thoughts. The new women coming into NXT and really getting TV exposure like Lola Kalani, Ariana Grace, and Petrovic. That's what it's there for. In it, we've done breakout tournaments before. They're going to do it with the men as well. So there'll be a men's breakout tournament. So we do this every once in a while. Not a new thing. Wasn't it? Didn't Roxanne Perez win a breakout tournament before? And we used to do like basically the Mae Young Classic as well. So it's you sign a load of these athletes. They haven't got a background. People don't know who they are. You have to get them to a certain standard so they're TV ready. You have to get a character for them. And then the breakout tournament's just a great way of introducing a load of people at the same time. Some of them in the tournament are people that we've seen around for a few months anyway. But then you get that's Petrovich, who I've never heard of, never seen before. There was another one as well in there. I already forgot her name. But it's a technique that they've used before, and I think it works quite well. Okay, Jay is trying to get Briscoe away. We got, 4 minutes to go. Chop coming in there by Jay. Chopping away, chippity chop, choppity chop. Jobson said, don't forget, Tony's going to add 7 more matches to that card of 10 matches. Wupak said, wait, whatever happened with Ring of Honor? Did AEW buy them? They did. Tony bought them. Lovely. Sleeper suplex. Really don't see that often by Jay White. Jay driving Briscoe down. I don't sense the crowd are massively into this. They're on their feet, but there's not really much in the way of like excitement. 1, 2, 3. Jay White wins. Jay White has picked up the victory. Right, MJF's going to make his way down to the ring. How long we got? 3 minutes. MJF is in the ring, but he's actually behind the Bang Bang Gang. He lays down all of the Bang Bang Gang, and for some reason they roll out the ring like MJF is taking out 3 members and they're on the outsides. MJF puts his diamond ring on. Jay White rolls out the ring. So MJF has single-handedly dealt with the Bang Bang Gang. I think we've took a wrong turn here. I think we've took a wrong turn. Pretty soon, playtime is almost over, says MJF. It'll be funny if MJF takes the title and runs, says Mr. Tar Heel fan. You're going to have to kill me, says MJF. I'm fighting for everyone that's been on this journey with me, says MJF. I'm fighting for you watching at home. Don't bother fighting for me. I want Jay White to win. Jay White, new AEW champion, says Iraq. Tommy, shout out to you. I hope you're doing well. Will you be the first man to pull the goddamn trigger? The man that's walking around with the fake gun? Are the lights out? What we got now? Lights are out. What's happening? The Acclaimed are being beaten up by mass people. Oh, God. We were doing so well. Now we've got the Acclaimed being beaten up by mass people backstage. Got thrown through a glass window. It's like the barber shop all over again. It's Excalibur said, it seems like whoever helps MJF is in harm's way. Here's the devil again. And then the devil goes away. MJF goes running to the back to check on the Acclaim. So it seems like that devil is maybe working against MJF. Man, it's going to be a nightmare to clear up that glass. It's going to be a nightmare. Here's Samoa Joe. Right, let's end the poll because the show is coming to an end. So, what reaction will Jack Perry receive when he returns? Mixed 46, negative 36, positive 16. Let's do a poll and see what people thought. What did you score AEW Dynamite? Did you give it 8 to 10? Did you give it a 7 to 7.5? Did you give it a 6 to 6.75? Did you give it 5.75 or B? The devil is Carly. It's the great Carly. The devil is CM Punk. Trenton said it's Punk. The devil is clearly Jeff Jarrett, says Gerald's. Now you know why I booked that as the main event, said Tony. I wish you hadn't. I thought the match was flat, and then I think that ending was rubbish. I think seeing MJF beat up 4 people, or beat up 3, and then them rolling out the ring is just a bit nonsensical. Makes the Bang Bang Gang look stupid. And then, like, the Acclaim getting jumped by masked people backstage. Not keen on it, to be honest. I'm not keen on it. I think that, I think the who is the devil mystery is something people seem to be engaged with. I think there might have been a better way of presenting it than how we just did that. Everything was, like, really good, credible, cool. Everything seemed like it was pretty good, and then, like, we always get post-match attacks. We always get these brawls and attacks and things like this. It was kind of refreshing to sort of go through a show with that sort of stripped away, and then we end it with a backstage attack. So, for me, I could have done without it. I think we could have found a different way of, like, presenting the devil, and the devil could have done something. It didn't need to be another attack. So, yeah, for me, I think my score comes down following that main event and the end. But it doesn't change the fact that this was still, you know, for 1 hour 45. And even that main event was okay. I just think it should have been shorter. I don't think there was really much doubt that Jay White was going to be winning it. I think that for me, I would have definitely changed that main event. And I think I'd probably settle in on about a 7. I was about 7.25. I don't really want to go down to 6.75, to be honest, because I still feel pretty good about the show overall. So probably going to settle on about a 7. Gotta say, though, I mean, goods. I wasn't bored. It's a solid episode. I mean, I've seen episodes so much worse than this. So much worse. This has been, I think this has been quite a solid offering, all things took into consideration. I'm in the 775 range, said Mitchell. 904 Pinball said 6.6. Let Him In says 7. The Devil is Mr. Bean, said Iraq. Trini said it's a 7 for me. I know the man in the mask is going to be Mustafa Ali, said Mr. Marcus. The Devil is Adam Cole, said Steve. Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. The Devil is clearly Taylor Swift, says KW. Erase Your Mind said 725. Yeah, put your scores in. What are your scores? What are the numbers that you're actually going to give the show? So I've put my cards on the table. I'm going to settle on a 7. I think this is one of the better episodes that I've seen. Mr. Bean, LMAO, said Serious Gaming. Gerald said, the devil is the friends we made along the way. Beautiful. Lovely that is. What if the devil is MJF? It will be Sting and Rick in the masks, says Botched Eye Surgery. Dork Knight said, I'm going to stick with my 725. I could easily have watched another hour. But it's Dolph Ziggler, said Saul. Do you know what? I think Dolph coming in is definitely a shout. When can they come in at Full Gear? Could we get like a Dolph or a Mustafa Ali or someone at Full Gear? The devil was Dave Meltzer. I love it. James said 7.5. Nothing horrific. It was a pretty fun episode. Zoom Station said 7. Jeanette is. Serious Gaming said, nah, it's Uncle Howdy. It's Bo. It's Bray. Who is the devil? We don't know. There's lots of theories. Legend Killer said 7. Subtle Nuances said the devil is Dave Meltzer. That's definitely a shout. Dork Knight said Trini is 7 out of 100. Oh, not a very good score then, is it? Not a great. That's not a great score. 90 days is around the second week of December, said Christian. So they can't show up. That's a shame. That's a shame. I wonder if they did the releases with that in mind, or if it's just a coincidence. I wonder if they looked at it and went, we can release them, and they can't have them for Full Gear. And maybe they didn't know about World's End at that point. I don't know. James said, Dolph can't show up till December. It's probably why they got the World's End pay-per-view. The devil is Snoop Dogg. Jim said, I think the masked men are Adam Cole, Roderick Strong, Kingdom, Kyle O'Reilly, Undisputed Kingdom. Steve said, the non-compete ends on December 20th. Trini said, I never said that. Trini, shout out to you. 7 out of 100 did strike me as a little bit low, but you are more than entitled to your opinion. KW said the chat is always a 10. Lee said the devil is Adam Cole, the devil you know. Danny D said the devil is Cody, he's missing AEW. What if the devil is Brandy? Because Cody is definitely signed to WWE, but Brandy isn't. So what if she's coming back? And I think that MJF and the Rhodes had quite a close relationship. Perhaps Brandy is just struggling with letting MJF go. Can't rule it out, can you? I mean, you can, but... Trini said, the devil is Doja Cat. Paint the town red. If there was any red in there, then we could start talking. The devil is Jim Cornette, said Travis. Could you imagine? The devil is Vince McMahon. AEW are presenting MJF's devil very close to how The Fiend glitched out the screen. Sonny said, I've got Doja Cat's new song, Paint the Town Red, stuck in my head. Roddy said Cornette is a good one. Serious Gaming said, what if it's Vince? Gerald said, the devil is Bow Wow, here to take over AEW now that Jade Cargill's out the way. That's brilliant. That's great. Mr. Marcus said, we don't know who is that. We'll figure it out at Full Gear if it's Mustafa Ali or Dolph Ziggler. Because Sean said, why can't AEW put better shows like this every week? To me, it looks like they're limping to Full Gear. Sean said, the devil is Tony Khan. Spoiler, the devil is from New Jersey, said Defcon Prime. The devil is John Fury. Oh my God, I'd flipping love that. Have you seen the old lady on TikTok singing Paint the Town Red by Doja Cat? I could send you the video. I haven't, and I don't know how I feel about you sending me videos of old ladies. I mean, I think I'm for it. Is she wearing clothes? If she's wearing clothes, don't bother. A. Jobson said, I see 2 Survivor Series surprises. Orton joining Team Cody and Punk answering a Shinsuke Open challenge. Mr. Dale Jr. said, are you doing a stream on the 23rd of December? I don't know, to be honest. What day is that? It's a Thursday. No. It's a Saturday. I don't know what's on, to be honest. Saturdays, I just go from week to week to week, so I don't know if there's anything on that day. Fred said, I think after the glass spot, the devil is clearly Shawn Michaels. The devil is, wait for it, the Repo Man, said Trini. You get it, New Jersey Devils, the hockey team. No one, come on, says Defcon. Sonny said, yes, she is wearing clothes. I've got enough videos of old ladies in clothes, thank you. I don't need another one. Serious Gaming said, do we even know if Shinsuke is doing an open challenge? No, I don't. Damon said, Superman Punch, get it as a stunner or punch. I'll give him a game in a new Jasmine, Psycho Jesse, and the Sea Cage match. Team with match, no rules. Mass, no holds barred. It's gone. Damon McQueen, shout out to you. Subtle Nuances said, people think Punk could be the devil. People think he was working backstage at Impact. People are all ready to see him at Survivor Series. Punk is living rent-free in all 3 promotions. It is true. Apparently, Punk's going to be everywhere. He's going to be at Survivor Series. He's over at Impact. He might be going to New Japan. He might be the devil. Chances are he ain't going to do all these things. The devil is Joel Glazer. That's very hard to argue with, isn't it, James? It's very hard to argue with. The devil is Maria May, said Horatio Minds. Aaron Jobson said, Doja Cat's new song is fire. Agora Hills is lit. I haven't heard that one. I'm still living my best life with Paint the Town Red. Travis said, the devil is Brian Last, Jim Cornette's co-host. AEW is even worse than anyone could imagine, said Schmacker Frog. The devil is VAR. Seth freaking Rollins, shout out to you. Mr. Dow Jr. said, I would book CM Punk against Seth at WrestleMania Night 1 main event. What are your thoughts? Well, we would need him to come in first. We would need him to come in first, and then we can start fantasy booking. The devil is Days. The devil is Bigfoot. The devil is Al Pacino. Wow. The devil is a lot of people, isn't he? Hey? Devil is a lot of people. One of them, I'm sure, is going to be true. I still wonder if the devil is not MJF. And if, like, you know, if it's not just like a pre-record video of him in that mask. Because he does tell us that he is the devil. And now he's attacking the Acclaimed, and, you know, maybe I'm just wishful thinking that this is going to be the start of him turning heel. Probably not, because he's got Samoa Joe on the horizon by the looks of it. Maybe it's Britt Baker. I still think there's a good chance of that. Maybe it's one of those like Dolph Ziggler's whatever, and it doesn't get, this keeps going until World's End, and perhaps they're going to make it a big thing. Perhaps it doesn't get revealed at Full Gear, and we just keep going until World's End. I'm really struggling with the CM Punk thing. I certainly don't think that. I think it's a fun one to throw out there as like, oh, they've worked us all. But I'm really struggling with that. I think too much has gone down. Too much has been reported. If it is a work, it'll be the greatest work of all time. And I've got no confidence that AEW are capable of that. So, yeah, I'm not buying that personally. But, yeah, it's a fun one to speculate and chuck around. But do you know what? A decent show. You've got to give them credit. They did a great job there, AEW. That was not a difficult watch in the slightest. And going into it, it was a stacked looking show, but I can't say I went into it thinking this is going to be a good episode or, you know, it's going to be a really solid offering. So I'm happy. I'm a happy boy. I'm leaving you a happy boy. And I will be back tomorrow with a member stream. We'll do another of those quizzes. They were good last week. So we're back tomorrow, and but for the wider world, we will be back on Friday for SmackDown, and that is can't miss because we've got the fallout of Logan winning the title. We got the fallout of LA Knight just falling short to Roman, and we've got the fallout of Damage Control. Friday's SmackDown. Big. Right, awesome. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support as always. It seems like most people had fun with this one. Some good scores with 7 to 775 coming out top, and second place 8 to 10. So well done, AEW. Thanks a lot for watching. Appreciate the support. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.